Good morning or good evening, depending on where you are listening to us right now. Welcome in to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. My name is Brendan Shorey. I'm joined today by Ethan Bess, Maggie Danahy. We got Sam Giangrande working the board for us today. Faris Amin on the video production as well. Man, are we excited to be here this morning, or, as mentioned, if you're listening on the radio tonight. Before we even take a look at what we're covering in today's show, guys, how you guys doing?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
Relative the same way. I mean, I had a pretty occupied week. A lot of podcasts to film, a lot of work to do, but we got here, so I'm doing well.
It's fun to be busy, though. Yeah,
it is.
A good busy.
Yeah, a good busy. It depends definitely on the type of busy it is. So, for example, the busy that I was doing, like I said, with filming podcasts and doing work, it was relatively, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, it was enjoyable because it felt like I was getting a lot of stuff done. But once that stuff starts to pile up and you have outside interests that you have to attend to, then maybe for the average person, it could get unpleasant. But for me, it was a productive and good type of busy.
That's great. I mean, there's nothing better than kind of keeping yourself busy and then having the night to relax. And a lot of sports on these days. Baseball finally back. We just passed opening week. Let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today. A very full show. You guys who are listening, you get to hear our voices for 3 hours, the entire show. So I hope you like our voices because there's going to be a lot of that. We'll start up here in New York with the Yankees and the Mets. Both teams dropping their last series, but again, still very early in a very long baseball season. We then take a step back and look at the rest of the league. A lot of rookies kind of taking the league by storm already. After that, we shift leagues, take a look at incoming playoff sports. The Knicks just beat the Celtics. Sorry, Maggie. And are looking to cement themselves as a contender in the Eastern Conference. After that, we zoom out, take a look at the rest of the association as the playoffs loom large. Only a few games left in that season. Another playoff sport follows with the NHL. After that, we take a look at history being made within the last couple of days. Bryson DeChambeau missed the cut at the Masters. Rory McIlroy setting records. After that, the last of the big four leagues, the NFL. The draft is in T-minus 12 days, and there is a lot of buzz about teams trading up, down, draft picks, players, late risers, late fallers. A lot going on there. Finally, our last quote-unquote real segment, as Sam will take charge and lead us in a soccer segment, covering the Premier League and Champions League. And then finally, we wrap today's show with a special trivia game that I don't even completely know yet. That is up to Sam in the back. He came up with the game and is gatekeeping the questions from us so far. But guys, a lot going on in the sports world, and I kind of have to ask, you look at April, the Masters, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, the Final Four, the national championship for college basketball. So obviously a very loaded month in terms of sports. Is April the best sports month of the year?
I think I would say so. I think starting off with NCAA championships, then you have Masters, playoffs and end of seasons, then WNBA comes back. I think a lot for me personally as a sports fan, especially such a basketball
And I even mentioned the WNBA draft is coming up.
It is.
In the next couple of days.
Yeah. As such a basketball person, it's so good for me. And I'm also a soccer person, and it's a very important time in soccer as well. So I'd say April.
I've debated this particular question with a few friends that I know and a few professors that are big sports fans in general. And I respect the April answer, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't know what Brendan is going to say, but I am going to say October is the best month, mainly because, of course, you have the NBA coming back in swing, you have NHL coming back in swing, the Major League Baseball postseason is up in swing, and then, of course, you have the World Series close to the end, and then, of course, also you have the NFL basically in full swing after a month because, of course, NFL starts in September. And then at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, the WNBA Finals occurs within that same month. Someone can fact check me on that. But in an essence, when you have, and then also MLS is starting to wind down, and then you have MLS playoffs, although those aren't until November. But given the height and the comeback of other sports in general, there is a fever in the air when October rolls around, whether it's in the ballpark, whether it's on the ice, whether it's on the court, or whether it's on the field of play for football or soccer in general. There is a whole bunch of stuff on that one could enjoy. And then also, if you're lucky, you could possibly have an equinox where all four
The big
sports,
four, yeah.
exactly, are on the same day, or even have five, I don't know. But in an essence, with everything rolling around and in high fever and with a postseason going on, I would probably say October, but I don't know if what Brendan's going to say to that, but that's my position.
So my two biggest sports that I follow the most and am a bigger advocator for are football and baseball. And you look at October, and you mentioned it, Ethan, baseball playoffs. This is October as the slogan for the MLB playoffs. And then you have college football in full swing.
I didn't even mention college football. Good
Yeah.
point.
College football in full swing, NFL in full swing. And that is usually a time where, as a Cowboys fan, I can still happily watch my team because of the continuous heartbreak year after year in the playoffs. Those months are a little bit of a sore spot. But in October, they are usually still doing well. So I'm going to agree with you. I am a October advocate for the best sports month. I do think, though, that April definitely is second. I think there's a lot of...
Especially if you're a basketball.
Yes, if you're a basketball fan, then April is likely first for you. Same with if hockey's like your number one, like by far, same thing. You're probably going to say April. It just kind of depends, in my opinion, on which sports you follow the closest.
I mean, if Emma was here, she would more than likely agree with the April part of it because, hockey, as I've said before, is her intellectual domain, and that's usually when the Stanley Cup playoffs roll around, which, in my opinion, are the best postseason in sports. It's
I don't
Stanley
hate
Cup.
that take.
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs first, and then March Madness is like a very close second, but they can flip-flop.
I was about to say, I hope you're including March Madness.
Oh,
in that.
absolutely.
Okay. That's good. That's unfortunately going to do it for our little intro segment here. On the other side of this break, we are going to be right back with some Yankees and Mets talk. Stay tuned for that.
Become a Yankees Universe Fan Club member today. Explorer and Rookie membership packages are now available, and every Yankees Universe member receives a membership card, 2 tickets to a 2026 Yankees home game, access to a members-only website, and more. Plus, Rookie members receive an official New York Yankees t-shirt. And best of all, a portion of every membership supports Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, benefiting pediatric cancer research. Join Yankees Universe today. Visit yankees.com/universe.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Hello everyone, I'm Trey Rodriguez, calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. We're live every Saturday on YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later at night on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We cover the latest news in the sports world with our wide range of beat reporters, as well as exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes. We'll see you next Saturday on One-on-One.
Welcome back into One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey here with Ethan Bess, Maggie Danahy. It is time to talk Yankees and Mets. Before we do that, though, we do have a giveaway. We have 2 sets of 4 Yankees tickets for Wednesday, April 15th. This trivia question I'm about to ask is for the first set of those 4 tickets. There's only ever been one perfect game thrown in the postseason, and it was thrown by a Yankee. Who was it? If you have the answer, call in 718-817-2750. One more time, 718-817-2750. Call in, and those 4 Yankee tickets could be yours. Again, Wednesday, April 15th. You could be going to a very, very fun, very good game for the Yankees. Let's break them down. So the Yankees dropped their last series to the A's. Lost the Game 2 and Game 3 behind offensive struggles. And I'll preface it this way. This is the first time that I think, ever been on One-on-One, and there hasn't been a Yankees fan on with me. So
Definitely not me.
Definitely not me either.
yeah, so just for our viewers, Rangers fan, Mets fan, Red Sox fan. So quite the opposite of Yankees fans, to be honest. But I mean, I guess just I'll toss it out. Just general thoughts about the team's performance up to this point and how much that series loss against the A's affects them.
I think they came out really pretty strong. I think
They had one of the best records in
Yeah,
baseball
they
before the
do.
series.
Probably as expected. They were always going to be up there. I don't think that series loss is too damaging, whether it's like how many games. Like, I don't think that was necessarily going to really rattle them. I think that they've probably learned a lot from that, and trying new things. Season just started, and
They are already riddled with injuries.
yeah.
Between Cole making his comeback from Tommy John and Rodon making a comeback, throwing pen sessions, and even Volpe still working his way back from injury.
Yeah, so I don't think that, like, especially with those injuries, like, I don't think that it's going to really, I don't think it defines them too much.
I mean, in essence, with the Yankees as they are, it's kind of a little bit disheartening, although, like I said, I'm not a Yankee fan, to see them kind of go down this road of, like, troubles, for lack of a better term, because they started off the season against the Giants, I think, with, like, back-to-back shutouts, if I'm not mistaken. Through the first, I want to say, like, 5 games, they had the lowest ERA recorded for a team through, like, 5 games, I think, in MLB history, at like 0.53 or something crazy like that. And with all due respect, I think it's, as the season goes on, of course, like, about 13 games have been played. I don't think that the A's series will affect them that much. Of course, it's 162 games, but in essence, I think the series loss to the A's kind of gave the Yankees a little bit of a reality check that, hey, you do understand that on any given day, there are teams that will hit it out the park, that will pitch insane, and then also at the same time give you a little bit of a run for your money. I think a good example of that was, I went to the Yankees-Marlins game over Easter, and that was on April 4th, and that game the Yankees won 9-7. Now, the Yankees did fall behind like 4-0 through the first 5 innings. I actually posted about it on my Instagram, but the behind like some phenomenal hitting, but like by the likes of Cody Bellinger and Goldschmidt and Judge, the Yankees ended up coming back and winning 9-7. So I think from this standpoint that they're probably going to need to like roll up, for lack of a better term, on their pitching, and if they don't do that, then this skid might continue.
See, for me, the worry isn't necessarily with the pitching, because you have Fried, who is pitching as well as he ever had in a Yankees uniform, and you have guys like Warren and Schlittler who are pitching well and well enough as kind of shorter term solutions, while you still have Cole and Rodon working their way back from injury. And then once they're back, obviously you have the Fried, Cole, Rodon 1, 2, 3, which is one of the best, if not the best, in the entire MLB.
I'm not a big fan of Rodon, but go on.
He had a good year last year.
He had a solid year last year, but he can be inconsistent. I'll leave it at that.
I think as a 3 option, as your third starter,
It's pretty good.
I'd
Pretty
say
good
he's
3
like top of the league in terms of that.
Okay, fair enough.
But you look at the offense, and that's kind of where I don't want to say I'm worried, because
It's inconsistent.
it is inconsistent
I'm
so
not
far.
worried.
Yeah, you're pretty happy about
Yeah.
that probably.
Well,
I don't want to say
I don't want to get cocky.
I don't want to say I'm worried, because it's so early in the season. But they were no hit by Springs through 6+ innings. A Ben Rice single broke it up in the 7th inning. You look at how this team overall has performed, and you have guys like Jazz and Caballero who are hitting under 200, which can't really, I don't want to say can't happen. Every team's going to have a couple of guys who aren't necessarily 250, 260 hitters, but are great in the field. But Jazz was never supposed to be that. And so, obviously, like I said, early in the season, so much time for him to kind of fix that, so much time for all these players to kind of get around and fix, because you see a lot of these actually big-name players aren't off to the hottest starts.
Yeah.
But the inconsistency is something that needs to be fixed soon.
Yeah, I think it's also just really early to judge. Like, this is like kind of their first stumble in the season, this past series, and I honestly agree with Ethan, where I think it honestly might wake them up a little bit. Like, hey, like, don't underestimate an opponent. I'm not saying that they did that, but it will kind of just like wake them up a little bit, I think, which I actually think could benefit them.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the same argument that I just articulated about like 2 minutes or 3 minutes ago, that you shouldn't take any opponent unserious regardless of where the season stands. But then also, let's be realistic about something, that it's just one game out of 162. You could literally
Exactly.
take this, flush it, and continue to look forward. And it's not like, the NFL, where you have to play like hard every single game, given the short span, I put that in quotations, of the season, given the fact that there's 17 games, but you're playing like, you have a week off after every single game. With baseball, it's like you're playing on a Saturday, okay, go home, rest, you're back to work on Sunday. So in essence, I think that it probably won't affect them that much, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
I think it's so funny. I saw a post on TikTok last week.
TikTok.
But basically, it was running through like the different types of sports fans, and you have your like NFL fans where you lose, and you're like, all right, good game, tough game, we'll get them next week. Same with like college football, same with like NHL, NBA, long season, and then it gets to the MLB fans, and it's obviously a 162 game season, but then the whole like skit about the MLB fan is like they lose one game and they're crashing out because this team has no offense, this team sucks, and then the next day they win, and it's like the
All is
complete
forgiven.
opposite.
We're winning. Yeah.
It's
World
like genuinely
Series.
MLB fans are like bipolar with the team, whether it's like based on their performance that day
That's
is
low-key soccer too.
yeah, It is, but
It's
I
dramatic.
just think it's so funny because it's such a long season. But
Yeah,
then
it's like you
get those reactions for every single
Yeah.
game out
like
of the
the
162.
NFL is one of the shortest seasons, and like you can't really afford to lose at all.
Yeah.
Like it's such fine margins that that one game that you lose in the NFL could keep you or knock you out. Like it doesn't. So it's like, but you're right. Like they're like next week, like we
yeah.
were the better team anyway, and so it's like, well, you didn't win.
We'll
so
get it
yeah.
next week. We'll
Yeah.
recover. We'll get some guys back from
So
injury.
and like, but with baseball, you have 162 games, and then it's just like it's less than 1% of your games.
Can I say this though? I brought this up in, I want to say it was sometime when we was doing mocks, but I had said that one of the main differences or one of the main distinctions I see between Major League Baseball fans and NFL fans is kind of the same passion along different lines, game lines, but at the same time, I would say NFL fans are much more entrenched, for lack of a better term, with the teams of the league. And what I mean by that is we're in New York currently, and I feel like if you're a Yankees fan, more than likely you don't care about what the Giants do. You probably don't watch Giants baseball. You can name a few people on their roster, but can't name everybody. Okay, fair enough. But in the NFL, and the NBA, there's some exceptions too, but in the NFL, if you root for, let's say, the Cowboys, okay,
This one feels
you
personal.
know what the Texans are doing. You know what the Chargers are doing. You know what the Chiefs are doing. You know what the Giants are doing. And in essence, the NFL, even though it's a big world, can feel small given the focus on teams within your division and even outside of your own conference that you're following. But with baseball, I feel like it's regional. What I said to bring it to the NBA is half and half. There are some places where it's regional, and then there are some places where it has an NFL feeling. But yeah,
I actually never thought of it that way. That is, I do see that though. We're gonna go ahead and shift. I'm gonna throw this one to you, Ethan, because your Mets have been. I don't know exactly how to describe the season they've had. Struggling offensively.
very.
Outside of a Luis Robert Jr. resurgence.
Yeah.
Injury bug is hitting already.
Yep.
And the pitching has been pretty
Horrendous. Well, no, in some.
good. Oh, we do have a caller, actually. Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing good, thank you. Talking sports on a Saturday morning. Nothing can be a whole lot better than that. You call in for the Yankees trivia question?
Yeah.
Do you remember the question, or you want me to repeat it?
Can you repeat it for me? Just 100% sure.
Yeah. So there has only ever been one perfect game thrown in the MLB postseason, and it was thrown by a Yankees pitcher. Who was that pitcher?
Would it be Don Larson?
It would be Don Larson. Congratulations.
Great.
We have one set of 4 Yankees tickets for you now, Wednesday, April 15th. So we will have our guys in the back, Sam and Bobby, help you get those situated.
Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Of course. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. That was quick. I'm surprised that was so quick.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the Mets. You have gripes with their pitching?
I do have some gripes with their pitching because, in essence, I feel like, listen, Freddie Peralta, I like the dude. I think he can be big time. I mean, he proved it when he was in Milwaukee. But in an essence, I feel like we could be a little bit better. We could definitely be a little bit better. Like, Peralta, great, but I need some uppings from Manaea. I need some uppings from...
Manaea's got a sub-2 ERA out of the pen.
Oh, wait. Yep, that is true. My bad. But
McLean looks great.
I mean,
he had a fantastic outing the other day against the Diamondbacks.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But in an essence, I just feel like, to bring it back, there are some areas that I feel like could be fixed on the Mets pitching, but to bring it to what you was talking about with offense, it's definitely not looking good on offense. I mean, Soto doing great, like,
But hurt.
I expect, yeah, Sput hurt. Lindor, same thing, but, like, we've only been scoring, I'm looking currently, like, except that one explosion against the Giants back during Easter where we scored, like, 9 runs. This is just over the last few games. 5 runs, 4 runs, 2, 1, 0. Like, you just need, I'm not saying swing at everything, but you just need to follow the ball a little bit better, man.
And it's the guys that they've brought in, too, that just haven't been playing up to the standard. Bo Bichette has not been playing up to his contract. You look at a guy who has led the league in hits, who is a career batter sitting around 300, who is batting under 200 to this point in the season. Again, early in the season, these guys have so much time to kind of come around and fix whatever is happening. But Bichette, Polanco, Lindor, Simeon, these all 4 of those guys have been struggling offensively. Again, the only bright spot right now, well, I don't want to say only bright spot because Vientos is kind of having a resurgence.
Yep.
But Luis Robert Jr. is having one heck of a year so far.
Yeah, I mean, there are ways in which, and I just hope we don't do what we did last year because he is having a good year, but I just hope we don't, like, heavily have to rely on, like, our young talent or talent of that such to, like, carry us throughout the season, because close to the end of the Mets season last year, that kind of was the case. I mean, Jonah Tong, I'm a fan of him, but he was only like a 20-year-old kid. He hadn't even had a chance to, reach adolescence in Major League Baseball, and you're basically asking the man to somewhat pitch you to the postseason, which, of course, the Mets didn't make the postseason last year, but if you're relying on young dudes to get you there, then more than likely I think that ship is going to sink before it even sails.
You don't want to have to rely on them, but right now, if I were a Mets fan, I would be so comfortable relying on McClain, Vientos, Luis Robert, and Beatty.
Yeah.
Like a good young core right there. I would be so comfortable leaning on them right now and then hoping that these veterans kind of figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Soto is, of course, hurt, and then Lindor's been around the game for, almost 10 years now? So, in an essence, I think that eventually they'll figure it out, but like I said with the Yankees, it's still early. Like, anything could happen.
It is still early, a lot of season left, but that is going to do it for our segment about the Yankees and the Mets, and we will be right back on the other side of this break with some general MLB. Stay tuned for that.
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
Welcome back into One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey here with Ethan Bess, Maggie Danahy. Time to continue talking baseball, and we actually do have a caller on the line wanting to talk about the New York Mets. Hello, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Can't complain. Can't complain. You called in. You want to talk about the Mets?
I did. I had a question for Ethan about the Mets.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, Ethan, how long do you leave Marcus Simeon in the starting lineup before you think about putting him on the bench after you took on a pretty big contract from the Texas Rangers?
In some ways, I kind of am a little skeptical about Marcus Semien, but here's what I would say. Let it play out for about 5 games. 5 games is usually like a time frame in which I see kind of what a hitter is made of. If over those 5 games you have a instance in where he's striking out a lot, or he's not getting on base a lot, or is kind of just batting below average, then I would definitely say work your magic and try to find someone else to fill in his spot. But if over those 5 games he's doing well, he's able to pick up his pace and is able to see the ball relatively well, then I would say keep him in. But the span of what I think is possible to see for a hitter would be 5 games. So over these next 5 games, I would say let him see what he can do. If it doesn't work out, then yeah, I would say take him out, because prior to that, it really hasn't been good. I mean, if you look at his statistics currently, he's only batting 196. So I would say give it about another 5 games.
It makes sense. No, he struggles. I'm a big fan of Marcus Semien, but I believe he's in the twilight of his career, and I think the Rangers got the better of that trade with Nemo. Nemo's played pretty well so far, but I'm a big fan of Marcus Semien. And hey, you guys are doing great. Keep up the great work. And Ethan, you got a big fan base in Texas. That's where I'm calling from. So continue to do what you're doing, and you're all doing great. And have a great weekend. All right.
Appreciate it.
You have a great weekend as well.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
You too. All right. So I guess we'll transition from. We talked about the Mets.
We did.
We did. You laid out your gripes with the pitching staff.
Yep.
But a lot more happening throughout the rest of the league. And there's one place I really want to start is with the ABS challenges this year. And go ahead, take it away.
I absolutely, let me say, I want to rant just a little bit for like 2 minutes, then I'll throw it back to you. This is one of the best things that has ever happened to Major League Baseball. Because prior to this, you had many different instances of where people was like basically fed up with umpires. They were fed up with umpires. They thought their zones were inconsistent. Say like this is a zone right here. Catcher catches a ball literally out here. That's called a strike. People literally like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you're clearly not in the zone. Like, are we serious right now? But with this ABS challenge, now we can see where the zone actually is. And, I trust catchers, Catchers have a relative...
They know the zone well.
Yeah, they know the zone well. So when I see that and I'm like, yo, this is absolutely amazing. Now we can see where the ball actually lands. And then also, of course you get 2 per game or per inning. I'm not sure.
2 per game, yeah.
2 per game.
And if you win it, and
you keep them.
If you win it, you keep it.
Yeah, you could literally abuse this if you keep on winning. So in my opinion, I think this is going to bring more integrity around baseball, and that I think every single baseball fan that I've talked to relatively loves it. So that's my take on ABS for now. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we see it like soccer has VAR, and you can do it in basketball, and so it's about time that it was going to come. And I think it's good. I don't know if you should have unlimited. That's the only part that I'm not.
I agree with it. If you
sure.
keep on
I like how it is now. I think if you win it, you get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you win it and you get it back, yeah, I have no problem with you abusing it.
I mean, you look at the umpires today, and you have these challenges. If you win the challenge, obviously, umpire made the wrong call, whether that's touching by a hair, like a millimeter, or whether it's a fully in the zone. But you get it right. Obviously, wrong call on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that you get it back and you're able to continue to challenge these pitches.
Yeah.
I will say I was at the Mets game on Thursday night.
How was that?
It was the Mets lost 7-1 against the Diamondbacks. The one run coming from a Luis Robert home run in the first inning, and then they were silenced. But McClain pitched well.
Okay.
That was fun. It was a good pitching duel between Rodriguez and McClain. So it was a good game until the Diamondbacks pulled away, scored 4 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. I have all this like down still from my post game recap video that I posted.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good game. But in that game, there were multiple times where a player challenged and got it wrong. I think at the end of the game, the Diamondbacks had no challenges left, and that happened in like the 7th inning, and the Mets had 1. So like, obviously, I think some of these players. Here's another point. I think some of these players don't know the zone as well as they think they do.
Oh, I agree.
And so I'm interested to see how lenient managers are with their players challenging pitches.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. Do they not have like does the managers not have like replay? Is that why they're relying on the
MLB made it so that in the stadium on any TV you don't see a strike zone. Like as a fan, like if you're watching, say you're up in like the 300s and they have those TVs like up on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a strike zone on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have them in the press box either.
Yep.
Managers will have whatever iPads they have to watch the film.
I think
like
only
right afterwards.
they should be the ones to do it. I don't know. If
Really?
I don't know if players should.
I trust the players.
I trust the players
I
more.
I
I
trust
think-
some players.
Exactly. Like, I mean, maybe that's a managing problem where it's like, all right, you're not allowed to call them, you are. But, like, as a manager, I feel like that can get kind of out of control if your players can just, like, do this and then the whole team is screwed if they just made the bad call. Because, like,
I think that's going to become a big part of
like,
managing.
you see, like, like, athletes, like, you get fouled and it's not a foul, but they're going to say that it is a foul because you're not going to say you're wrong. So, like, I don't know. I just think that it could become a tough team dynamic if your players keep challenging and it's not discussed and then you're losing them and then something happens later in the game that actually should be challenged and you can't because your players were having like an ego problem and trying to prove that they were right.
I mean, in essence, I
think certain players.
Like imagine
gonna
if
be
basketball
trusted.
players could call the challenges.
Everything would be challenged.
Everything would be challenged.
But you know how many times they go like this in the game?
That's part of coaching too, is knowing when to actually believe your player that he didn't foul him.
Yeah.
Same thing like with this, like managing. It's like you gotta know who to trust, which players to go out there and trust, and obviously you're gonna trust defensively. You're gonna trust your pitcher and catcher to kind of mostly your catcher to know the zone. But when it comes to ABS challenges as a hitter, that's where I think you're gonna see how much managers trust each player based on how long of a leash they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone like Juan Soto, I think if he were
He's
to
free
like,
reign.
Yeah, like I think if he was to challenge a pitch, he'll get it right like 99.8% of the time because the man, in my opinion, knows the zone like literally the back of his own hand.
Like I think you'll see like Juan Soto have free reign, like challenge whatever, but then here's the thing, do you also see guys like I'm not trying to discredit any player, but just Luis Torrens, like a player like him, are you seeing him with an inability to challenge anything before like the 7th inning? Or are you still going to say, I trust you, but if you're not quite as sure, don't risk it?
I would say that. I would say, like, I trust you, but if you're not exactly sure, like, do not risk something that is clear because we could possibly use these for, like, you know, let's say we're at the top of the 9th or something, and, you know, you got, like, 1 out, and it's a 3-2 pitch, and, you know, say a zone is, like, the pitch was, like, a little bit over the zone, but it's called a strike. You could challenge that. That's overturned to a ball. You get to walk. So And in essence, like you said, I trust you, but be smart.
But you have a little less. You don't have as much freedom to call the challenge as players like Soto.
Yeah,
In
or
terms,
even
in
Ohtani.
terms of what, like, in terms of how it would be treated if it was wrong.
Yeah, like I think someone like the players that I mentioned, like Soto or Ohtani, or even Judge for that matter, I think if they were wrong, I think very little, most of the time, I think they would be right. Let me just put that out there right now. Like over 98% of the time, I think they would be correct. But in the 2% that they are wrong, I think the coaches would be like, whatever, we can live with that. But if it's someone like you said, Luis Torrens, where they challenge it and it's wrong, then managers like Carlos Mendoza or Aaron Boone for that matter, they might be like, why? What exactly were you doing? So in essence, I think it really depends on stardom.
So I guess that will bring up kind of the next thing I want to talk about, the rookies and how much, I guess, leeway they are going to have with the whole system. I mean, right now you have actually a very good rookie class that is already kind of taken the league by storm. Guys like McGonigal, Connor Griffin, J.J. Weatherholt, who are all playing pretty well, better than a lot of these rookies are playing actually better than expected. How much freedom do you give the guys who don't have as much experience with the ABS system?
Well, to be fair, nobody has experience with the ABS system.
Nobody has experience, but you
But-
look at guys who have been in the league for 10 years
Correct.
who probably know the strike zone a little better.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think that I don't think that you let them, unless because can the managers call it?
No.
They can't. So only the players call it.
Only the players
Pitcher,
call it.
catcher, batter.
Yep.
I mean, then who's gonna call it? So it's if they see something nobody else sees, you can argue that, but then you can also argue again experience. Are you gonna trust your rookie?
I would
to
also
risk
argue.
something
I
like
would
that?
also argue, to push to talk about it, that catchers are on the field managers. There's a reason why the majority of players, if they decide to become managers, I saw a statistic, over 60% of them were catchers during their careers.
Yeah.
So in an essence, catchers are kind of on the field managers in a sense. I think they would know the strike zone, like Brendan said, relatively well. So you can trust your pitcher, but I would trust the catcher more so in that scenario.
I think the catcher has the most trust in, or just overall knows the zone the best. And we've seen that with Will Smith a couple times this year where he knows the zone and guys like that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best managers, at least of the last 30 years, Joe Torre, he was a catcher during his career. So what says that?
Yeah, no, that's true. I want to talk more about kind of these rookies, and I guess not exactly just their play, but the contracts that they're getting. And you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, Connor Griffin got signed to an extension north of $100 million total value. I want to say it was 8 years before even stepping foot on an MLB field. Do you think that, I think we're going to see it more often. Do you think that is smart by the teams to lock these guys down early and just hope they perform?
I don't. I think that you can only expect how someone, or you can only anticipate how someone's going to play in a major league or professional level. So it doesn't always translate, and we've seen that so many times across all sports. And so I think it's very, very, very risky, especially for them also not to feel comfort or to feel secure, but I do feel part of it is you have to prove yourself. There are people that have proven themselves. You have to prove yourself and you have to earn that spot. And I just don't know if you can earn it without doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that. And then also, in an essence, like you had said, it's kind of risky because we don't even know what, these players are relatively about before they step on a Major League Baseball plate. Sure, we saw what you did down in the minors, but That's an entirely different ball game and ballpark compared to what you're about to step on in what they call the show. With relative comparison, I would say that it also has something to do with the fact that the market in MLB is like almost like a free-for-all, and in essence that there's no salary cap and teams can basically for now, but in essence teams can basically spend whatever they want, and as long as they're willing to pay taxes on it, they can just continue to spend and spend and spend for whatever they want. So in essence, seeing these $100 million contracts given to rookies is not necessarily surprising, but if they like get an injury or something, you still have to pay that money back, and then also, you know, you're kind of getting ate up. So in an essence, I think that it's kind of risky.
Here's where I'm actually going to disagree with you guys. I like it from a team's perspective because you've seen what they can do at the minor league level. You're trusting your system to help this player improve and get better, and you know the potential this player has. So locking them down early, and mind you, 8 years, about $100 million in comparison to what it could be if, say, like Connor Griffin, for example. If Connor Griffin comes up and he plays and he is like an all-star shortstop, it's a pretty big difference in the amount of money that he can make. Team is saving a lot by doing that. And so I actually like the teams locking these young potential future stars down. Unfortunately, that's going to do it for this here segment talking about the MLB. On the other side of this break, we will be back with some Knicks talk. Stay tuned for that.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace McCarran and I'm one of your 2025-26 New York Islanders beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow me on X at Grace McCarran _ for live game updates, features, and other inside content from the island all season long. From the development of first overall pick Matthew Schaefer to incredible saves by Ilya Sorokin, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Isles look towards the postseason. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Hey Devils fans, Tucker Austin here from WFUV Sports, one of your New Jersey Devils beat reporters for the 2025-26 season. From Hughes Brothers Havoc to Heischer hat tricks and Markstrom masterclasses, I'll have you covered live from the Prudential Center for all things Jersey hockey. Follow me on X at TAustin _24, where I'll have live game updates, analysis, and post-game coverage all season long as the Black and Red look to bring Lord Stanley back to the Rock. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New Jersey Devils.
Welcome back into One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey here alongside Maggie Danahy, Ethan Bess. If you want to call in, the number is 718-817-2750. I repeat, 718-817-2750. It is time to talk about the New York Knicks, who just beat the Celtics the other day, cementing themselves as one of the top teams in the East, if that wasn't already done this season. And Ethan, I'll throw it to you first because you are the Knicks fan that we have on today. How serious are the Knicks as title contenders?
You know, I would jump into delusion, but I'm not going to. I am going to be rational and be honest about the way that I see the New York Knicks, it's 50-50. It is definitely 50-50 because the way that the Knicks, on paper, the Knicks look amazing. Like, on paper, they're absolutely phenomenal. You would definitely think that this is a team that could, like, get to the NBA Finals. But here's something that you guys probably didn't know. Do you guys, or at least Brent, do you guys remember when the Knicks went on, like, that 8-game win streak, like, sometime during the season, like, not that long ago? I think... I saw this on First Take by, I think, Kendrick Perkins. Like, 6 out of the 8 teams that they beat during that 8-game win streak were below 500. So it looks great on paper, but the substance
They're 500
of the,
against teams with the winning record this year.
Exactly. So, like, the Knicks, I think, Jalen Brunson, love him. Josh Hart, love him. Karl Anthony Towns, great. But the substance of the teams that you guys are beating is very subpar. So, in an essence, when you get to the postseason, I mean, obviously it could turn on a dime and that could be a different story. But I think that the Knicks currently, it's a 50-50 toss-up. So that's where I'm currently at with New York.
I feel like this is the argument every year, or the question raised at least every year. It's like, oh, are they good enough?
Yeah.
No.
And no, go ahead.
No. I think that game against the Celtics was not a good indicator of anything. Jaylen Brown wasn't playing. Also, let me read you Josh Hart's last 5 games. Against Memphis, 5 points. Chicago, 7. Atlanta, 2. Boston, 26. And then the Raptors, 3. So someone just had a really good game because he was left completely open on the oh my God.
On the 3-point line?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
It's early. And if Jaylen Brown was on that court, he would have had him locked down, and everybody knows that.
Okay. Here's my argument. And tell me I'm wrong. If you think Jalen Brunson's not good enough to lead the Knicks to a title.
110% correct.
I don't know if I I don't know if I fully agree with that. I get where the substance of that argument comes from, but
let me explain. Here's where I'm coming from. You look at the last 10 NBA champs dating back to 2016.
Yep.
Cavs, Warriors with a couple, Raptors, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Nuggets, Celtics, and Thunder.
Yes.
Right? Every single one of those teams had one of 2 things. An elite two-way player as their best player. I would call Shea elite two-way player. Brunson is not. The other thing that those teams would have had is one of Jokic, Curry, or LeBron. And Brunson is not even close to any of those players.
I don't disagree with that.
I think
Brunson's not even close to Tatum or Brown.
I know. I wouldn't say not close. I wouldn't
Brown
say not close.
Is a stretch.
He's not close to Tatum. He can be close to Brown, but Brown
I'm taking both those players over Brunson.
Yeah.
But you look back at the last 10 champs, and they're either an elite two-way player, which Brunson isn't, and if you want to be just a purely offensive player who's leading your team to a championship, you're either Jokic, Curry, or LeBron. And I would even call LeBron an elite two-way player back then when he got his last few.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I mean, he's literally one of the best that's ever done it. Whether he's 1 or 2 or 3 depends on subjectivity. Is he better than Kobe? Who knows? But I just don't think he's better than Kobe.
He's better than Kobe. It's as if he's better than Michael.
Hold on. Do you think Kobe over Bron, or you have Bron over Kobe?
I have Bron over Kobe.
Thank you. Okay,
I was about to get really
Michael?
Worried.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was about to get really worried. Bron's the best to ever do it. It's an argument. You guys can disagree. That's okay.
No, I agree, but I don't think I love Kobe. I don't think he's number 2 either.
No.
I have him at 5.
Yeah, somewhere around there. That's a little low.
I have him lower.
You have him lower?
I have him lower.
Ouch.
He's
You're making everybody in Los Angeles mad right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Anyways, I guess what I was getting at with the Brunson's not good enough is what did the Knicks need then? If you guys are agree with the Brunson's not good enough, and don't get me wrong, Brunson's a fantastic player, but to be a purely offensive player, he's not good enough. At that point, what do the Knicks need to do if they want to make it all the way?
They need a superstar, and in my opinion, and I'm not.
You don't think Brunson's a superstar?
I don't. I think he's a top 10% player. I don't think he's in that top 10, 12 players in the league that can make a difference on a team. That is to not make a difference on a team, but to take someone to a championship.
What is your definition of superstar?
I like Joker, Luka, LeBron, Curry, and Edwards, SGA, Tatum.
Okay.
I would not say Tatum is in that superstar category, but okay.
Defend him, please, Brendan. I can't do it.
I would say Tatum's a superstar. I even think Maggie's
he's
list
great.
was
I just don't think he's a superstar.
I even think your list was a little short. I think there are other players
Yeah,
that could fit
I do
into
too.
that.
I definitely am forgetting people.
Why? Explain.
Well, because it could be biased because I'm mainly a New Yorker through and through, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes when push comes to shove, I just do not see Tatum showing up. And in essence, namely against, I want to say Indiana, that first game, not of course not last year, 2024, when the Pacers beat the Knicks to go to the Eastern Conference Final. I forgot the exact statistics from that game, but I do know that Jaylen Brown tied that game in regulation with a few seconds to go. And then, of course, the 2024 finals one can toss up, but I felt more so that series was more so Jaylen Brown, but one can disagree with me there. But I just do not define Jason Tatum as a superstar. I'm not saying
put
he's
him
not
on a
good,
team
but
without Brown. We've never seen that. So it's you have two elite players. And I don't think Jaylen Brown's a superstar, but I think it's hard to be the sole player when you have players like that around you. If you put him on a team,
I disagree with that. I think you can. I think a prime example is you look at Luka and Kyrie when they made it to the finals. I think Luka's still he was a 30-point almost triple-double.
Prime though.
No, he wasn't in his prime, but he was still a fantastic player.
100%. But you're talking about two players who are the exact same age, and they're prime together.
I wouldn't say
Jaylen
exact
Brown
same
is
age,
27?
but I would
28.
not exact same age, but maybe you look back at Bron and AD in the bubble.
But Bron is, yeah. I mean,
I'd still call one of the. I'd still say Bron. I'd say both of them honestly were superstars.
I don't think that you can compare anyone to Bron.
No, you can't. But
You really can't.
even AD, I would say the same thing.
I don't know. I just think that he was first team All-NBA for 4 years in a row. He was the only American on that. Not just saying he was the only one that was on that team for the 2 years. And so first team All-NBA, top 5 players in the league for 4 years in a row. That's not a superstar?
That is.
Okay, fair enough.
I think so.
Thank you.
All right, we'll bring it back to
We're back to the Knicks.
We'll bring it back to the Knicks because we have another general NBA segment where we can get more into that.
I think the last time the Knicks had a superstar like that was Melo.
I disagree. I don't think Melo, in essence, was a superstar. The superstar Melo that I defined was really more of his days in Denver.
Okay.
His days in New York were he had sparks of the Melo days in Denver, but it wasn't necessarily anywhere near equivalent. The last superstar that the Knicks had, in my opinion, was
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The Knicks haven't had a superstar in almost 30 years.
I like that take, actually.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm not a big Melo fan, to be honest. I think he is hyped up to.
He's very famous, which makes people think, you know what I mean? It's his status.
He was a great player, but I don't think he was as good as a lot of people say he is.
Yeah.
He was a pure scorer, great from the mid-range, great shooter, but I don't think that. I think people hype him up to be he was one of the best players of the decade.
I agree
Not
with
at
you,
all.
but I also wouldn't argue with him if he called him a superstar. for
That-
the
yeah.
Knicks. I wouldn't argue that.
That's fair.
But I agree.
That's fair.
I think
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing is your generational talent, and I think that it's very sad that they couldn't. get Will
We
Hardy
got
back.
Bobby coming on the producer mic in the back. He's still figuring it out back there. I guess nope, we can't hear you. Nothing. Turn it to A.
Turn it to A.
Okay. Anyways, I guess while we wait for Bobby to figure it out, who do you guys think is the biggest threat to the Knicks in the playoffs?
I think when we meet, and it's very likely that we're meeting the second round again, and I think that that's the biggest threat for the Celtics, and that's the biggest threat for the Knicks.
You don't think the Pistons have any part in that?
The
I think the
Pistons are all the way like they the Pistons can't meet either of these teams unless
Correct.
in the final.
In the
so
ECF, yeah.
in the trajectory to the East into the Eastern Conference Finals, that's the biggest threat there. If you get there, I believe when you're in the Eastern Conference Final, it's anyone's
Yeah.
to take. And like, yes, the Pistons were the better team this season, but I also think that the Knicks or the Celtics, maybe even the Cavs, could pull that to at least a game 7. I don't think the Cavs could win it, but I do think the Knicks or the Celtics could win it over the Pistons because I don't think the Pistons are that dominant 1 seed that they're made out to be.
Yeah, I am not a believer in the Pistons. I definitely
Me
do
either.
I like Cade Cunningham.
I like Cade. Yeah.
The
But
know.
saying like the East runs through the Pistons is crazy.
Oh yeah,
that was
It does.
insane.
That is absolutely
That's
insane.
crazy.
It does.
Said no one ever.
This year, I'm saying it. It does. The Pistons are.
I'd be
the
less
team to beat.
offended if Knicks fans are saying the East runs through New York. It doesn't. The East runs through Boston. It's always run through Boston, but
Well, I mean, let me put this out there. There's a statistic that I keep bringing up that every team that has lost in the Eastern Conference Finals since 2022 goes to the NBA Finals the next season.
oh, really?
I'll lay it out for you. Heat lost to the Celtics in 22. They went to the finals the next season, beat the same Celtics team that almost did a 0-3 comeback, series comeback. Of course, Celtics lose in 23. They go to the
And then
finals
the
the next season against the Pacers. Pacers lose in 24, go to the finals next
Also,
season against
maybe it's
the
your
Thunder.
year.
And then, of course, it's possible the
But
Knicks
it's
could
not.
continue it, but I do not.
It's absolutely possible, yeah.
Yeah, but if they break it, I won't be surprised.
How we doing, Bobby?
I'm doing great. I had to interject as the old guy here just because I've seen the Knicks obviously longer than everybody else in the room over the years and got a chance to watch the great Patrick Ewing at the height of his game and totally agree to some degree because he was obviously first pick in the draft.
85,
and
yep.
for so long was the core of a team that went to the playoffs year in and year out, also made the finals a couple of times.
Twice.
Unfortunately for Patrick, he was such a dominant player above the rim when healthy and then had knee issues later in his career, and by that point became arguably, honestly at the time, the best jump shooting center in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was still very good. Maybe some of his game, like I always tell young folks to go back and watch him at Georgetown and then watch him early on in his career. And the Knicks, too, to some degree, not to go off topic, but they're kind of like some of our other teams here in New York, like the Mets and the Jets, where they've just had such bad luck over the years because they drafted Patrick Ewing, and initially that was to pair him with the great scorer Bernard King. And then he ends up having, which at the time an ACL injury was like, supposed to be the end of your career. But he bounces back from that, but not with the Knicks, with Washington at that point, the then Bullets. But anyway, Ewing goes on to have an illustrious Knick career, but can never get over the hump. But the hump really was the Michael Jordan era, right?
Of course.
Like so many championship teams didn't make it past Jordan and the Bulls. And then the one year that the Knicks do get there, he loses essentially to the other great center of the era,
David Robinson.
Well,
yeah.
no, I was going to say, David Robinson at the end of his
99,
career, but Hakeem Olajuwon. And that series went 7 games, and John Starks had the great Game 6 and the horrible Game 7, so I think it could have gone either way. But just to answer the question, I do think Patrick was the last of the homegrown great players that the Knicks have had, which says so much because, again, it's 40 years ago, right?
Yep.
40-plus years ago at this point. When the Knicks did get Carmelo Anthony, he was considered a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, I think what you guys are talking about is there's a difference between a superstar and an all-star. The Knicks have had all-stars throughout the years,
Of
even
course.
during that Ewing tail end of the career. The Knicks had Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell. Both of those players actually went to the All-Star game. They were considered reserves or second-team players. But the Knicks have had other star players, even maybe during some of their down years. There were players that put up stats that were good, maybe like a David Lee, I think, made the All-Star team one year. But never super-duper stars like a Patrick Ewing or maybe Carmelo at his height, even though, again, with the Knicks, he was still an elite scorer. He won the scoring title. But it is an interesting debate because I think Brunson certainly is very close to the superstar category and maybe at the top of the all-star category. But I would not consider him, top 5 player in the NBA.
No.
And I think that why the Halliburton matchup with Brunson is because I do think that they're the same level of top of the all-star, kind of breaking over that superstar range. And I think that they were both, that matchup was so interesting because I think that their level of, not their level of talent because they're very different players, but their level of like status was very similar to me, where it's like really good up and coming players with a lot of potential, but not quite that household name yet.
See, I think the debate too then becomes, if you're going to talk about both of them, is would you rather have Halliburton or would you rather have Brunson at their best?
I'd rather have Halliburton.
I'd rather have Halliburton.
So, and some of it also might be
quick.
too. Yeah, it was quick.
I'm a big Tyrese Halliburton fan.
Some of it might be too also the teams that they play for and where they fit. So in other words, too, even with Tatum might just really fit the system that Boston has, and maybe Brunson has really come on in his career because he was very, very good in Dallas. I mean, again, all-star caliber, but I think he's taken his game to another level here in New York, and the question is whether or not that'll be enough to push it over the top to win a title.
We'll see if he's good enough and the team can make up for his defensive woes, but that is going to be all for us here on this segment. We just talked to Knicks, and right after this break, we will be back to talk about the rest of the association. Stay tuned for that.
It's WFUV New York, public media from Fordham University. Come for the music, stay for the community. Listen at 90.7 FM or at WFUV.org.
Welcome back into One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey here with Ethan Bess, Maggie Danahy. It is time to talk about the rest of the NBA. We just talked a lot about the Knicks, but a lot other things going on in the rest of the league. Before we get into that, if you want to call in, if you have any questions, you think one of our takes is wrong, or you have a take of your own, 718-817-2750. I repeat, 718-817-2750. NBA playoffs are coming up. Only a few games left this season, and
one more actually.
Yeah, tomorrow's last day.
One more. And I think a lot of people are very heavy on the Thunder going back to back. You don't think so, Maggie?
They got to run into San Antonio.
That's what I was just gonna say. I said I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can. It's gonna be one of them in the finals, but I don't know
You think
who.
so? You don't see any other team making a push?
No, I don't see any other team going through those teams. They have to go through at least one of
Not
them.
even the
in my
Nuggets?
opinion.
Not even
No.
the Lakers?
No.
Without, well,
With or without LeBron?
With Luka and Reeves uncertain.
No.
The Lakers aren't going to do it.
No, Luka is out.
Luka's hurt. Oh, he's out?
Like,
someone look it up.
He's in Europe.
Oh.
He went to go get medical treatment in Europe.
And Reeves is like very. Reeves is uncertain as
Reeves
well.
doesn't even really matter to me. Like I think he's a great. No, I think he's a great player, but I do think without Luka,
without Luka, they're cooked.
Yeah, I don't think Reeves and Braun can do it on their own without Luka right now, and I don't think that Braun is gonna be able to you know what I mean? Like I think no Luka is like. I'm not saying that Reeves wouldn't have a very if they did go on a run and Luka was there. I'm not saying Reeves wouldn't be extremely important. He absolutely would. I don't think he can do it by himself. Is what I'm saying.
Luka is in Spain and is in relatively good spirits and attacking his rehab.
But why would he go to Spain if he was going to play in the playoffs? The playoffs are starting right now. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he would have done his medical treatment here.
I mean, and also it depends on how long that medical treatment is. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It has to be pretty prolonged for you to go out of the country for it, in my opinion. I don't think you'd go for a small medical treatment for like a week.
No, I don't think so either. But I also don't think he's not been officially ruled out, of course.
No,
but I think there's a chance. He's eager. The article I'm looking at, he's eager to rejoin his teammates for the playoffs.
Did he say that?
Los Angeles Lakers head coach J.J. Redick reiterated on Friday that Luka is attacking his rehab and eager to rejoin his teammates for the playoffs.
Is this from ESPN?
Well, it's from J.J. Redick.
No, I'm saying like what website are you looking at?
It's an article that was written. Actually, it was updated this morning at 5:48 a.m.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Doncic sidelined with a grade 2 hamstring, is currently in Spain to seek alternative treatment with hopes of fast-tracking his return to basketball activities. He was originally ruled out for 4 to 6 weeks. Unless Doncic can make a miraculous recovery, he's unlikely to rejoin his teammates for the first round. But could be ready for the second round.
I don't know if they're making it through the first round without him. You
don't think Braun could lead them past, say, the Timberwolves? It's either the Rockets or
I don't want to
Timberwolves.
say he can't, but
It's unlikely.
it's unlikely. It's Timberwolves or who? Let me see.
Timberwolves or Rockets?
I'd say the
No.
Rockets.
I think maybe the Rockets, but he's not. I don't think that Braun, at the end of his career, is overtaking a playoff Anthony Edwards. Personally,
don't necessarily disagree with that, but at the same time, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan here, but I have seen instances, especially during this season and last season, where LeBron literally turns back time like it's 2007. So do not put it past this man to possibly turn back the clock to 2007 or 2008 and just go like Super Saiyan mode, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put it past him. I just think it's very unlikely, and even with that, you need Reeves to step up. You need everyone. You need everybody. Like they traded, they don't have AD anymore. They traded him for Luka, so it's like
You don't have to go through that anymore.
Right, but I'm saying
You
it's
don't have to
just,
remind me of that.
Yeah. Oh, true. But yeah, so there's got obviously a huge gap there, and I just don't know if without their prime star, because obviously Bronwyn's their star, but they're like prime future, they're going to do that.
I'm currently looking at the playoff picture currently, like on the
Yeah,
NBA's
it has,
website. Oh, we're kind of looking at the
yeah,
same
it has
thing.
them playing the Rockets, and then if they go through, they play the. No.
If they go through, they'd play the Thunder.
The Thunder.
Yeah, Thunder or the late.
But I don't know if they're going. If they're going to get with the
Luka
Rockets.
has a good history against the Thunder.
Lucas.
He does. He does.
Round two.
Yes, he does.
He has a great history against
like,
the Thunder in the playoffs.
But it's not guaranteed for round 2. Like
no, it's not. It's.
I don't think it's guaranteed. Not guaranteed. I don't think he's playing at all.
You saw what he did to the Thunder in 24.
But also,
I did see what he
yeah.
And then what happened?
I was in
really?
Listen, I was
set yourself up for that.
I was in the DFW area, living there at the time. The fever that was running through like the DFW Metroplex during that entire Mavs run was insane.
Yeah, I also think that even if he does come back, think of how much where's his fitness level? It's not where he was before he got hurt. That's a huge factor. Like, yes, he's Luka Doncic, but like he wasn't even around the team. That's a big deal to leave the team to go get
fast
treatment.
track.
Correct, maybe, but like
fast track it.
You're not around, which is also kind of shady. Why is like he like just like going to whatever, but like you're not around the team. You're not training in your NBA facilities. Like, where is your fitness level if you come back for that second round?
That's part of rehab, is making sure you're able to.
Correct, but like even like
shape.
coming back from injury, you're not gonna likely be at the place you were. So it's like, is he gonna be able to be that Luka that we know, and dominate and beat the Thunder of all people? No, he's not.
Yeah, probably not.
And I'll eat my words if he does, because that would be incredible, and that would be like one of the best. Me eating my words, or just him like.
Him beating the Thunder.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I mean, him beating the Thunder would be. It would kind of just be like a repeat of 2024.
Yeah.
Being
I'll
like,
admit I'm
hey
wrong,
guys,
and that doesn't ever happen.
I haven't left. I'm still the guy in your back closet, or something like that.
Yeah.
That probably came out wrong.
Anyways, so I guess you take the Lakers out because they are, I mean, probably the most uncertain team in the playoffs. Thunder, Spurs, the two favorites in the West, or to come out of the West. Who do you guys have coming out of the West between those two? Or do you, I mean, Maggie, you already said you don't have any other team. Ethan, if you have a different team.
Celtics, Harper Brothers final series.
Spurs,
Celtics. Dylan and
finals.
Ron. I mean, Ron probably won't play that much, but it would just be funny to have like a brother series.
I mean, in an essence, I think that might be correct in the sense that those are probably going to be the only two teams that relatively come out of the Western Conference. But if it does come down to the Spurs and the Thunder in the Western Conference final, I probably would put more money on the Thunder than I would San Antonio, because sure, regular season can prove quite a bit about, where one stands with a certain team or not. I mean, the Spurs did win the regular season series like 4-1, if I'm not mistaken. But the postseason is literally a different story. And a good example of that was, I think you could look at 2013 when the Knicks played the Pacers in the second round in the Eastern Conference. I think the Knicks won the regular season series against the Pacers 3-1, but then the Pacers beat them 4-2 in the second round. So in an essence, I think the Thunder could learn from their mistakes, and from there you'd have a competitive series. But I would say if it is Spurs and Thunder, I'd say the Thunder beat the Spurs in 7.
Yeah, I see it going to 7. I think the Spurs.
But I could see the Thunder winning in 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Thunder have been there before. It'll be the first time for this Spurs team.
Yeah.
Shea has proven he can get it done. And as much as I don't like Shea in his game, or either team at that,
I actually don't like either.
But I do think it's the Thunder at least going back to the finals. I think they are absolutely the team to beat right now in the entire NBA. Shift to the East now. You have the Pistons sitting in the 1 seed. And we kind of talked about them a little bit. We talked about the Knicks a little bit. Obviously, Maggie, you're going to have the Celtics coming out of the East. But say you can't pick the Celtics. Who's the next most like?
I can't pick the Celtics. I always pick the Pacers, but out of just like loyalty. But realistically, I would say the Knicks. I could see the Knicks beating the Pistons. I think the Pistons are very unconvincing 1 seed.
Ethan?
I would agree with that. I think, let's say, for instance, like the Knicks and the Celtics meet in the second round, which I think more than likely will happen.
Yeah, will happen, yeah.
Whoever wins that is going to go to the NBA Finals.
Oh,
that's where I'm
like
sitting.
that.
Whoever wins that will go to the NBA Finals.
I don't know. I'm really high on the Pistons. I think
don't get high on your own supply, man.
I personally think it's going to be either the Pistons or the Celtics.
You have no dogs in the game.
I have no dog in the fight. My team is going to get a good draft pick, actually.
Of course.
A great draft pick.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, but like when you keep going and getting draft picks and you're still not getting over the line, when is it?
Whoa. We were in the finals in 2024, then traded away our 25-year-old superstar. We now have an 18-year-old who's going to be a superstar. And then we add another top 10 pick.
Okay.
And then you're going to have, hopefully, Acuff and Flag running the league.
All right.
I mean, it would be...
Cooper Flag's the most obvious future Celtic ever, by the way.
No?
Yep.
In what way?
He's a Mav for life.
No, he's going to be a Celtic.
He's going to be like Dirk. Mav for life.
You said the same thing about Luka, and he's gone.
Not his choice.
That's just personal at that point.
That wasn't Luka's choice. Luka would have been a Mav for life.
Yeah, it wasn't Luka's
He just bought
choice.
a nice house. They gave him away.
Yeah,
he was ready to start his life.
Yeah, that was also when we had Nico Harrison, and Nico is gone. You just like shuddered at his name.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. That was also when we had Nico. But the Flag Acuff duo with Kyrie and everyone else, the entire rest of that
You
young
think Kyrie's
core.
coming back like that?
Yeah. Yeah, he's taking this entire year to rehab. He's already practicing. He'll play next year.
He'll be in.
No, I know he'll play, but do you think
be
he's
an
coming back
all-star.
like
He'll be
that?
healthy.
He'll be an all-star. Him and Coop will both be all-stars. Acuff's going to win Rookie of the Year. Mavs are going to be back.
Talking about Rookie of the Year.
It's got to be Coop.
Yeah,
It's gotta be Flag.
I agree, but to play devil's advocate for a second,
Go ahead.
one's making the playoffs and one's not.
One's the focal point of his team's offense. One's not. I wouldn't say Khan's the focal point of the Hornets' offense.
Between him and Melo, yeah, I think it is.
I'd say it's Melo.
I'd
say it's Melo than
Khan.
I'd say it's Melo than Miller.
I don't think so.
Coop is like facilitating the Mavs offense pretty much. Khan is not doing
But also, again, with devil's advocate, if you were given both teams in the preseason and everyone said pick which one's going to the playoffs, everyone would pick the Mavs.
I don't think many people had the Mavs going to the playoffs this
but
year.
Mavs or Hornets is what I'm saying. Everyone would say the Mavs.
With no Kyrie this year and an 18-year-old leading your team.
I don't know if it's necessarily the right choice. Like, I think if you think about it with, like, Melo up and coming and if you look at Khan and you really looked at it on paper, I think that it's actually very close rate, or like, it would be a close tie, but I do think that most people would have expected the Mavs to be more successful than the Hornets.
That is fair.
But I don't know if that's necessarily the right tactical choice if you really look at it.
That's fair. I don't think the whole playoff thing can be used as a
I don't really
reason. Cooper Flag is he's the first 18-year-old to drop 50 in a game.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like, I think that.
Yeah, you're playing devil's advocate for the sake of.
For the sake
of
Make
giving
you defend your guy a
for
little
giving
bit.
Khan a chance and then letting me defend Flag.
Yeah.
I like that. Ethan, you also.
I mean to be honest, I think it's gonna be Cooper Flag. I don't necessarily disagree with any of the statements that have been put out by either of you. I think that to mention what you had said, that he's like the first 18-year-old to drop like 50 in a game. That's unheard of. So take it with a grain of salt. I would say Cooper Flag.
Khan was the odds-on favorite until Flag dropped 96 points in a 2-game span.
insane.
And then Flag became the odds-on favorite, which he currently still is. I want to say at minus 275, somewhere around there.
It's 175.
175.
I think. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, Khan is I guess a close second favorite. He's at plus 100 and something. So not the race is not over by any means, but Flag is the current favorite. That is going to do it for this segment, though. Talking NBA playoffs, 1 game left in the season, and then it is time for the playoffs, and we'll see who comes out with the trophy at the very end of it. But we will be right back on the other side of this break with the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are 2 of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the hosts of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
We are back here at One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey here with Ethan Bess, Maggie Danahy. If you want to call in, 718-817-2750. It's time to talk hockey. And Ethan, I'm going to throw it right to you since you're the one in the Oilers jersey right now, the McDavid jersey. Take it away. Just general thoughts coming up onto the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You know, general rule, I would say that I actually wrote an article about it. You can find it in the RAM. It's called Go Big or Go Cold, and I lay out some of my predictions there. But the way that the Stanley Cup playoffs is currently situated right now, I think the Hurricanes have the most points in the East, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think that the East is a whole lot more competitive than the West is currently. I mean, you have the Canes, you have the Senators, you have the Penguins. I'm a big Sidney Crosby fan, and but general rule, I think that the team that surprised me the most out East is the Sabres, because the Sabres started off 5-8-4, and of course they had an amazing December and January, an amazing winter, and then now they have the second most points in the East. So I think with respect that the East is more than likely going to come down to the Sabres, and this is probably going to shock some of y'all, but the Penguins. I think that
they're a scrappy team.
They are. And then, you know, they I know they recently did acquire Stuart Skinner, former Oiler, in a trade, and Skinner has been okay with the Penguins, but I have seen some flashes where he can look absolutely amazing. And then for Sidney Crosby, in my opinion, to possibly get like a fourth ring would be cement his legacy through and through. But I think it probably will come down to Sabres and Penguins in the East, but I do think the Sabres will win that and make the Stanley Cup final. Now out West, it is a little pathetic. Not to sound rude, but it's kind of a little pathetic. I mean, the Avalanche are absolutely running away with things. They're going to win the President's Trophy, no doubt. But then you also have the Stars, the Wild, the Oilers, the Golden Knights, the Ducks, and then the Mammoth just clinched a postseason spot not that long ago. the way that I see the West currently, I would really like, and I did predict, that the Oilers will go back to the Stanley Cup final for a third straight year based on some historical precedent. I mean, just last year, the Kings were expected to beat the Oilers in the first round, and it looked like they were going to after winning the first 2 games. But Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, and Corey Perry, to a degree, happened in the first round, and they just won the next 4 games and dispatched the Kings in the first round for a 4th consecutive year. And I remember also, like in the second round, the Golden Knights were expected to roll over the Kings. Well, a team did get rolled over, but it was the other way around. The Oilers dispatched the Golden Knights in 5. And then what really surprised me was the way they dispatched Dallas in the Western Conference Final. I thought that Dallas had learned from their mistakes last year against Edmonton, but like Nugent Hopkins came alive in that series, and so did Zach Hyman. So I guess it was just a little too much to contain for Dallas. And now Edmonton's kryptonite in Florida is not in the postseason this year. So I think it's going to be Sabres Oilers in the Stanley Cup final, and then I think that the Oilers will break the Canadian Cup drought and actually bring a Cup to Edmonton for the first time since 1990 and for the first time in Canada since 93. But I think it's going to go 7 games. Like, the Sabres aren't going to go out without a fight.
Is there any homerism or bias in that?
Well, I'm not even from Canada. I was I was born here in the U.S., born in Chicago, but in terms of favoritism, I would say, because I'm a big Connor McDavid fan, kind of like the main reason why I watch the NHL in general.
It's hard to ever pick against him.
Yeah, and I still do think that, he's still hungry to, bring one to Edmonton. There is one team that I do think surprisingly could give the Oilers, a tough time. It's one of them is the Avalanche, but I don't think that they're the main one. I think it's going to be Vegas if they meet, which is more than likely if the Golden Knights beat the Ducks, as the way it's currently set up right now. They'll meet in the second round because this would be their 3rd playoff meeting, 23, 24, 25. This would be their 3rd playoff meeting in the last 4 years. And, of course, Vegas won the first one in 23. That was the year they won the Stanley Cup. And then Edmonton dispatched Vegas last year. So in essence, I think they would kind of be playing for Pacific Division supremacy, but I think that is the one team outside of the Avalanche that could give the Oilers some trouble, Jack Eichel and Mark Stone and whatnot. But I would definitely like to see a Western Conference rematch between McKinnon and McDavid. That would probably glue a lot of eyes to the TV.
I was about to say, the Avs are definitely a team that can't be counted out with the President's Trophy. And, I mean, you look at that team, and I see a strong argument for them winning it all. I think it's actually really unfortunate that the Avs and the Stars would meet in the second round. 2 of the probably the deeper teams in the West having to meet in the second round and not making it to the conference finals to play each other.
I think whoever, although like I said, I still have Edmonton winning the West, but that is going to be a dogfight for real. That is going to be the Stars and the Avs are going to try to rip each other's heads off, literally.
Yeah, and the Stars have been to 3 in a row now, conference finals.
Yep.
Haven't gotten over the hump yet.
Yep, lost to Vegas 23 and then lost to Edmonton in back-to-back years.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then speaking of that, as a Stars fan, I do want to ask, because it's set in stone that y'all will play the Wild first round. How do you see that going?
I'm confident. I mean, the team is cold. The Stars are cold right now, slumping a bit. They've won their past couple of games, though. So, I've seen what this team can do when they get high. I mean, they went on and won 14 in a row earlier this year.
That is accurate.
They are probably if not the hardest team to beat when they are hot. The problem is that they've had too many cold stretches this season that the inconsistencies worry me a little bit. So it just depends on what team we get out there on the ice.
Okay.
But
I
I'm
can get behind that.
confident in that series. I'm really looking forward to and worried about the knock on wood Stars Avs.
To give you a little bit of relief, I had made a prediction about it. I actually said Stars in 5.
All right.
Yeah, because listen, I just do not think that. Listen, Quinn Hughes is amazing. I think Quinn Hughes is probably easily top 10. You can make a case for top 5 player in the league. But I just do not think that the Wild have been the same since they got him.
No.
Yeah, I just do not think they have been the same. I mean, the Canucks have absolutely fell off a cliff. And, like I said, Quinn Hughes is amazing, but hockey is literally a team sport. It's not like, basketball where if you have 1 or 2 good players, you can roll. Hockey, you're going to need the center to be good. You need left wings to be good.
You need a deep roster.
Yeah, you need a deep roster if you want to be good in hockey. It's basically like basketball, football, and boxing with respect to fighting on ice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You either need a very deep roster or, like the jersey you're wearing, the best player in the league.
Or, with respect, a hot goalie. A hot goalie can literally win you a series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important part. And I say it all the time when I'm on both on one-on-one and podcast. But really, these series are going to come down to goalie play.
Yeah.
And how well they do in those series.
Yeah. But, yeah, that is my picks for the 2026 Stanley Cup Finals. I see Sabres and Oilers.
How worried are you with the Oilers' goaltending situation?
It's bad. I mean, I was doing some homework a few days ago, and I looked on my phone and saw that the Oilers were playing the Mammoth, and I found out that, I might as well just tune in. But then I found out, why exactly have the Mammoth given up 5 goals? I mean, have the Oilers given up 5 goals? Then I find out that Tristan Jarry was in net. I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. I found a statistic.
Kind of makes sense.
I found a statistic from, I think, ESPN that game and a few games prior, that was I think the 4th time that Tristan Jarry had gave up 5 or more goals. Literally the 4th time in the last 5 games Jarry gave up 5 or more goals. And looking at that, I'm like, that's not sustainable for the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's just not. If you're letting, let's say if you had to play the Avalanche, if you're giving up 5 goals to McKinnon and Makar, you're going to get swept. You are literally going to get swept. I am going to be like, yeah, you're not going to have a chance if you're doing that. But if you can find a way, in my opinion, in a Western Conference Final rematch of 2022 to somehow shut McKinnon and Makar down and kind of, because you're not going to shut them down completely, but if you can some way neutralize them, then you might have a chance.
You just got to slow them down.
Yeah, if you can slow down McKinnon and Makar, then you have a chance.
Which is a lot easier said than done, too.
In some ways. I mean, Bouchard's going to have to step up. I mean, Bouchard, he is in a runner in a way. He's in the favorability to win the James Norris Trophy, but he's had some inconsistencies here and there and some abysmal plays as a defensive man. But I think if Bouchard somehow finds a way to slow McKinnon down, if it is a WCF rematch of 2022, then I think they could possibly find a way to get back to the Cup final for a 3rd straight year, but we'll see.
I think there's one last kind of topic we have to hit while we talk about the playoffs, and it's the fact that the Panthers aren't in it this year.
Yes.
Which you're obviously going to be very happy about.
Yeah. I mean, in an essence, here's the thing about Florida and in general. The Lightning, Florida has been in the Stanley Cup final for the last 5 years or something. Of course, you had the Lightning win in 2020 and 2021. Then they went in 2022, lost to the Avalanche. Then, of course, the Panthers took their place in 2023, but got dispatched by the Golden Knights in 2023. 2024, I honestly thought that that was going to be like a clean wipe for the Panthers. Like, I thought that was going to be a sweep, especially after going up 3-0. But Game 4, they got absolutely waxed, 8-1. Game 5, they could have won, but due to some mishaps by Bobrovsky in Game 5, that went the Oilers' way 5-3. Then Game 6 for the Oilers, it kind of looked like they had been brought back to life. Like, okay, I had just watched you guys almost get swept, and now we're going to play a Game 7. So I thought that streak was going to be broken. Like, the drought was going to be
there.
Yeah, there was hope. But then, like, especially after the Janmark goal in Game 7 that tied it 1-1. But then I forgot who scored the second goal. I think it might have been Reinhardt. But then after that it made it 2-1. I thought there was still might have been hope there. But then as like time started to drift by, it seemed like the passion that was there in 4, 5, and 6 for the Oilers wasn't there anymore. And the Panthers are like, okay, we kind of have a chance now. And they just ran with that, and the drought continued. So, and then 25, I really thought that the Oilers had learned from their mistakes. But the Panthers literally said, nah, we're still the same people. So, in essence, with the Panthers falling off, it's kind of like relatively a good thing to see. But they're going to play in a much tougher, or at least play more tougher opponents than they've had over the last few years.
Yeah. All right, well, before we wrap this, we'll go. You already gave your pick. You
Yep,
said
Sabres,
Oilers over Sabres.
Yes.
In the final. Maggie? Overall pick. Over whoever.
I could see the Oilers. I mean, I want to say the Bruins, but that's not going to happen. But, yeah.
You take the Oilers?
Sure.
I'm going to take, there's so much favoritism and homer in this, but I'm going to take the Stars. I'm going to take them over the Canes, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I changed my answer. I want the Canes.
I mean, and I know none of us gave the Avalanche, but for anybody that may be listening, let me fill you in on something if you're not a big hockey fan. Ever since 2013, when the Blackhawks beat the Bruins in the Stanley Cup final, the team that has won the President's Trophy has never won the Stanley Cup in the same year since.
Yeah.
I think that drought's going to continue.
I think it will too. It's it's like a punishment. It's a curse.
It is a curse.
It's become a curse.
Yeah.
That is going to do it from us here on our NHL segment, though. When we come back, we'll have a chance to talk about the Masters, which is currently happening. It's day 3 today, so stay tuned for that after this break.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every round. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back into One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey, Maggie Danahy, Ethan Bess here. It's time to talk about the Masters. Before we get into that, if you have a take about the Masters, if you want to complain about Bryson missing the cut, or if you want to be excited and talk about Rory and his history that he is making, 718-817-2750. One more time, that's 718-817-2750. Give us a call. Sam would love to hear your voice in the back and put you through to us. Let's get into this. Couple days in now. We're on to we're past the cut. The cut happened yesterday, and I guess we'll talk about Bryson first because he was the most bet golfer to outright win the Masters this year, and it was somewhere around 10% picked, and then he goes 6 over through 2 rounds and misses the cut, and just a very disappointing Masters for him. I think you look at him, and he had placed top 6 in each of the last 2 Masters, and then comes in and triple bogeys hole 18 on round 2, ends up 6 over. I don't even know how to express it. Just Bryson obviously not playing his best golf at all this weekend.
No, I didn't think he was going to win it, but I didn't think that it would go that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think
That's pretty unpredictable.
I didn't think it'd be that bad.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't win it, I figured he would still place top 5, top 10 minimum.
Sometimes people just have, off days, if, the ball is just not going your way and it won't fall in the hole, that's, a tough shot. But sometimes people just have their off days.
And don't get me wrong, Bryson's strength is his long game, and he was driving the ball well. But after that, he was missing a lot of putts that were makeable. Just was not good on the green and wasn't great getting to the green either. You mentioned off day. A couple of days, and I want to say that's probably the worst golf that he has played in the past few years.
Yeah.
It just was a sad watch from a outside perspective, knowing how good he actually is, and then for him to perform like that.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
It's funny because one of my good friends is actually a huge golf fan, and he texted me right afterwards. He goes, "That's what he gets for playing in a quote-unquote fake league, playing LIV instead of PGA with the guy who is in the lead right now. Finished round 2 with the largest 36-hole lead in tournament history, Rory McIlroy, and it looks as if it's pretty clear that he is going to take this one.
Yeah, I'm a big Rory fan, so I had him going. I feel like he's untouchable right now. I think he's like at just such a high in like his career and just like that, like I think I can do it all kind of mentality that just brings you over that hump sometimes. And I thought he was gonna win it. I didn't know it was gonna be this convincing. Or this clear, maybe.
There's 12 under after round 2, which is insane.
Yeah, but I'm excited for him. I'm a big Rory fan.
I think in essence, the lead that he has built could possibly be, like you said, a signifier that he basically has this tournament in the bag and that it's basically locked in stone, that it's his. But at the same time, I would also caution against the mindset, for lack of a better term, that just because you think you have something set in stone doesn't mean that you should act like that. But here is one thing I will give a lot of golfers. A lot of golfers are very, very down to earth and very humble people. They don't brag. They're not, big, flashy guys. All they want to do is basically just hit the ball, make some money, take their hardware, and basically just live their life from there. So I don't think Rory will do that, but, I would caution against it.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about Rory is why so many people get behind him is because he's just a very likable guy from what
Yeah,
you
he
see,
is.
and just a family guy. His dad, kids are always around, and just someone that like is very easy to root for.
And it was fun watching him get his first green jacket, or his green
Yeah.
jacket last year.
It was.
Yeah.
Finally completed the Grand Slam
Mhm.
last year, and now is on the verge of becoming, I want to say, the fourth golfer ever to go back to back and defend his title in the Masters. The other three,
Oh, I was gonna ask, who are the other three?
Nicklaus did it in 65, 60, and 66. Nick Faldo did it in 89 and 90, and then Tiger did it in 01 and 02.
Gotcha.
So Rory joining pretty elite company there to, although technically not over yet, knock on wood, join an elite club right there, become the fourth member to go back to back. So you have to be happy for him that he's setting these records, joining these, hitting these elite milestones, that type of thing.
Only four people have ever done it. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And golf has a very long history. Like, it is a sport that is, I say this jokingly, but almost as old as the human species itself. Like, it has the lineage of, like, basically a whole bunch of, like, it has the lineage to match and the history to match sports like boxing, baseball, or even hockey or basketball for that matter. It's a very prestigious sport with a deep history.
It is, and you look at the point totals right now, or the standings. Rory's 12 under, still in first, and then you have Burns and Reed tied for second at 6 under. So 6-stroke lead going into today. Should be a good spot for him. He should be pretty confident, but then again, continue to play as you were yesterday, and you have this one. You let it get to your head, miss some easy shots.
Right.
I mean, if Burns and Reed play well today, they could cause some sort of chaos up there at the top of the leaderboard. But Rory, 12 under, looking to golf today, should take this one home, should join the elite club of golfers that have gone back to back. That is unfortunately going to do it for us here in this segment, though. We will be back on the other side of this. We have an IndyCar pre-recorded segment with Bobby C coming up next, and after that, we'll be back with some soccer talk. Stay tuned for that.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside U.S. Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One-on-One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Hi, I'm Ashley Went, one of your hosts for FUVFC, WFUV's best, if not only podcast for all things soccer. From insight from beat reporters for all of New York soccer clubs to breakdowns of all the major leagues and events from the international pitch to right here in the States. Tune in weekly as we discuss all things soccer on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week on FUVFC, a product of WFUV.
haven't had the opportunity to see a race on the track, but there has been some IndyCar news. I thought it was exciting to see Colton Herta's name, but I was disappointed when I heard that he now is not going to run the Indy 500, which was something that I had written about on your website Beyond the Flag just a bit ago. Wanted to get your thoughts on the F2 race now being slotted in to that same date that the Indy 500 is running, which means that Colton Herta will not be with us for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, not just because of Herta, but I think now you're sitting at 31 cars with really under 3 weeks until the open test. So something's got to happen to get to that 33. I know the series says they're willing to step in to make sure that happens. But I think when you have a bump day, it's always more exciting because it's not just one driver at risk. It's every single one of the 34 drivers is at risk. There's no guaranteed spots like you see in NASCAR or whatnot. So yeah, I think it's a shame, and I think it's a shame specifically for Herta and for Andretti.
And
I think there
Andretti
were a
now.
lot of, for sure, there were a lot of questions as the announcement continued to be pushed off. I think Andretti sort of knew F2 was going to look to add something because if you look at their schedule, F2's off season was 13 weeks long, and with the two cancellations in April, that put them at another 13-week break from their first to second races. So something had to happen, and I think that kind of the writing was on the wall there. Now, it's unfortunate they couldn't find someone else to well, I'm sure they could find somebody. It's unfortunate that they couldn't agree with somebody to drive the 98, but focusing on their three full-time cars, this is a team, high expectations every year. They haven't won it in 9 years, so maybe that's the right move.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously, out of that fourth car in the Indy 500. But when you do look across the pond, you kind of dream, especially if you're an IndyCar fan or maybe even an F1 fan, because right now Max Verstappen is not very happy with Red Bull. Things are not going as well in F1. So the rumors are circulating whether it is Max's early retirement from Formula One or maybe, just maybe, the chance that he could decide to come to the United States. And if that does happen, would he decide to go to, let's say, NASCAR or IndyCar? And of course, if it is IndyCar, would there ever be that opportunity for him to maybe run in the Indy 500? Maybe he would look good in that fourth seat for Andretti this May.
It would look good. I don't know how likely that is this May or next May or beyond. I think he's been pretty outspoken about not wanting to do IndyCar, not wanting to do ovals. As of right now, I think come 2027, he'll still be in F1. This isn't the first time he's soon.
Yeah, disappointing, I'm sure, for IndyCar fans. But we kind of have our own version of Max Verstappen in the series, and that is Alex Palou. I did see a couple of folks on April Fool's Day tease that maybe Alex would be going to F1. And of course, that was a joke. He's been the long staple and the big winner in the IndyCar series. And it's great to have him back. He'll be looking to win back to back Indy 500s. Last May, when I got a chance to do some writing for you on the website, originally I had suggested that Pato Award was the pick, the guy that is destined to win the Indy 500 this year. Believe it or not, Asher, when it came to race day, I put my money on Alex Palou and got a little bit of change, which was good in return. But I think those two drivers will go into May as two of the favorites. I wanted to get your ideas and thoughts on Alex Palou, Pato Award, and the rest of the field coming up for the month of May.
I think the first thing with Pato Award is he's got to get the monkey off his back. Because for the past
really 5 or 6 years, he's kind of been the guy that everyone wants to see take that next step. And he really hasn't. He's one of the series soon.
Yeah, disappointing, I'm sure, for IndyCar fans. But we kind of have our own version of Max Verstappen in the series, and that is Alex Palou. I did see a couple of folks on April Fool's Day tease that maybe Alex would be going to F1. And of course, that was a joke. He's been the long staple and the big winner in the IndyCar series. And it's great to have him back. He'll be looking to win back to back Indy 500s. Last May, when I got a chance to do some writing for you on the website, originally I had suggested that Pato Award was the pick, the guy that is destined to win the Indy 500 this year. Believe it or not, Asher, when it came to race day, I put my money on Alex Palou and got a little bit of change, which was good in return. But I think those two drivers will go into May as two of the favorites. I wanted to get your ideas and thoughts on Alex Palou, Pato Award, and the rest of the field coming up for the month of May.
I think the first thing with Pato Award is he's got to get the monkey off his back. Because for the past really 5 or 6 years, he's kind of been the guy that everyone wants to see take that next step. And he really hasn't. He's one of the series best drivers. He's a second, third, fourth place driver consistently in the championship. But he's always the bridesmaid, it seems like, when it comes to the big time, whether it's the Indy 500 or the championship. And I think that an Indy 500 win would do so much for his career, would do so much for McLaren, because let's face it, they're kind of in the same spot. They're kind of getting burnt by Palou both on and off the track the past few years. And I think if he can finally get that done, that's huge for the sport also, because he's clearly the most popular driver. We've been talking about this Mexico race that still hasn't happened for the past few years. I think that would move the needle in a way that nobody else can at the moment. I don't think he's the outright favorite. I think Palou has still earned that distinction, but it's still hard to go back to back.
Totally agree. Joined now here by Asher Fair, associate editor and writer for Beyond the Flag, on the hotline 718-817-2750. Speaking of Formula One legends, we do have the son of an F1 legend in the IndyCar series this spring, and it is Mick Schumacher. I would say mixed results through the first four races, but wanted to get your thoughts on his acclimation to the IndyCar series.
Yeah, statistically, I mean, I know he's last in the standings, but he hasn't looked like a rookie. His first oval qualifying, he qualifies fourth. He's had speed on specifically the Barber Road course. He did pretty well at. I give him credit for coming over and trying it because, open wheel racing is open wheel racing, sure, but it is so different than Formula One. So I think you really have to give him credit for taking that leap. And I think I remember it was Ralph Schumacher didn't want him to do it because of the ovals. Maybe I'm misspeaking, but one of his family
Correct.
members, yeah, yeah, and he still did it. And I think the big test comes on Memorial Day weekend.
Very true. Obviously, a race for the IndyCar series upcoming. We're about a week away from Long Beach, and we've had, a fair amount of parity so far in the IndyCar series, which I would say is something that the series has kind of hung its hat on. Any early thoughts on what we're going to see at Long Beach?
I think if everything goes right, it should be a Kirkwood weekend. He's been dominant there, winning two of the last three, and he was on a different level at Arlington. It's sort of surprising he didn't even make the Firestone Fast Six, but even that didn't matter, and the slow pit stops didn't matter. So I think as long as Andretti shows up with some level of execution, it should be his weekend. You never know when the cautions are going to fall, but I believe that race ran caution free a year ago anyway. And it's not, Long Beach has been on the schedule so long. It's not one of the new street courses where you just kind of expect 6 or 7 cautions. So I think if everything goes right, it's his race to lose. But you're right, we have seen parity so far. We've seen other drivers, other teams show up and be competitive. Um, Even within Andretti itself, first, third, and fourth at Arlington was huge. Ericsson should have been on the podium in St. Petersburg. You've had McLaughlin was second. Malukas ran well. there's so many to pick from. I think that's the beauty of IndyCar is that, oh yeah, you talk about Palou winning all these championships, but each individual weekend, you really never know.
Biggest surprise of the season for you, Asher? Has it been the fact that Kirkwood is right there? I mean, I never would have thought that we'd be having a conversation about Alex Palou not being first in the standings after the first four races.
It does surprise me Kirkwood's still up top because I've written about it over the past few years. For him, it seems like it's always been win or bust. Through his first few seasons, he's had 5 wins, but only one other podium finish. And this year, he seems to have taken a step in the direction that in IndyCar, you need to capitalize when you're not winning. So to see him score a podium at Phoenix when he didn't win and finish no lower than fifth in any of the other races, that is a positive. I know every year we think, oh yeah, Andretti's one of the big four, they're gonna have a shot, and of course they haven't won it since 2012. But I think this is the closest they've been to really taking that next step. Do I think Kirkwood's the favorite? No, I still think Palou's the favorite. You've got 14 races left, and he won the Oval Championship last year too for a guy who supposedly couldn't win on ovals. So he's good everywhere. But I think we're starting to see that with Andretti and Kirkwood too, that they can be good everywhere. And even if they're not dominant, they'll take their fourths and their fifths and they'll move forward.
18 races on the calendar this season, Asher. We had 17 last year. Of course, the new edition is coming up in Washington, D.C. this August, but we've also had some other new races in terms of, being added to the schedule in place of other races. You mentioned Arlington. I was curious your thoughts about the series continuing to try to branch out. Doug Bowles, the president of IMS and also the president of the IndyCar Series, has already said that he is open to adding races if it makes sense from a monetary perspective. Obviously, for me, I would love to see more races here in the Northeast, and I would love to see IndyCar continue to blossom.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're going to be maybe not forced to, but they're going to really see the importance of a Northeastern race because I think the Washington, D.C. race is going to be huge, and that's only a one-time event. So you're already kind of looking for replacements. And if they don't find at least one, I think they sort of drop the ball there because there are options. Uh, I know New York has Watkins Glen. That one sort of got screwed over by bad weather in 2017. There wasn't a big crowd. Same deal with New Hampshire, even in 2011. That was a one-off. I know certain drivers don't want to go back to Pocono, but that's sitting there. It's only has one NASCAR weekend now. I think that would be cool to get back to. But yeah, I think the Washington D.C. race, there's already a lot of hype surrounding that one. And if it comes even close to that, IndyCar is going to see that there is so much untapped potential in the Northeast.
Asher, you'll have boots on the ground in the month of May in Indianapolis. So wanted to wrap up this interview by asking you two things. I already think I have your Indy 500 pick for 2026, but wanted to confirm, at least early on, who you think is the go-to pick for the Indy 500. And then, of course, talk to you a little bit about what you're working on for the website and what the fans at home could expect to be reading in the next month on IndyCar.
I think you got to pick Palou just because, well, everything, right? I mean, there isn't anything not to like other than the fact that it's hard to repeat. But aside from Palou, I think Malukas. He's the best Penske driver so far, which is not a surprise, really. It still surprises me that McLaren sort of kicked him to the curb, but that's a subject for another day. Second last year with AJ Foyt.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
everybody, and welcome back to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. And I think this is now the third week in a row we've had a soccer segment. Not taking too much credit for that, but I think I've been in all three of them. I think this is
there you go.
The most we've seen soccer here in a while. It's on the rise in the United States, not just
it's on the rise on campus.
It is.
You're bringing it.
It's the new trend, I think. I think I'm bringing it in here in the station, but we have a lot to talk about here. We have Champions League, we have the Premier League, we have, unfortunately, we have a huge title race crash maybe coming in. Maggie, I can already see you're very upset. You have a lot to talk about. But I think we start with the Premier League. We just had Arsenal finish up their game at the Emirates, ending in a 2-1 loss for Arsenal with a 74th minute winner for Bournemouth. Maggie, I'm just going to send it to you. You had a lot to say after that game.
I mean,
so.
it was a completely pathetic attempt to, increase your gap at the top. They were incredibly complacent. They looked completely overshadowed by this team that is competing for nothing. Bournemouth have nothing to lose, and they looked like that they were in the title race, and they wanted it 10 times more than the Arsenal players. It was really, really disheartening because there was just no fight, no effort, and they got booed off the Emirates. And I think, it's not the end of the world, but you gotta fix something.
So I did a quick Google search right before this that if Arsenal go on to lose their game against City but win everything else, and if City wins everything else,
it goes down to goal difference.
It'll go down to goal difference. So tie on 85 points. So it's going down to now where Arsenal, they don't have many lifelines left. They have to win every single game to make sure they can win this title. And this would go down as the 4th season in a row if they end up getting second.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm the soccer guy. I don't know what other sports do you see this happen where it's just serial bottlers or going in where you get second every single time.
The Bills in the 90s.
I would even
Bills
say
now.
Bills now, yeah. I think the Bills now are
Bills is a franchise.
The Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s. That's rare. I really can't think of any other instances.
Yeah. It's completely pathetic. It's really just so disheartening that the fans have waited for so long, and you have this group of talent and this manager who, by all accounts, is an incredible manager. There's absolutely no excuse for what happened today, and it's just, I don't know what the injury problems are, like why these players.
There's not a lot,
but it's the same. Saka and Odegaard and Calafiori have been made of glass this season. I don't know what's going on there.
But they're able to win without them, and that's the thing. I think this is the one time you can't even say there's a lot of injuries. I think
no, you can't.
There's no excuses at all right now.
No excuses. It was really, really just a pathetic performance, but by means of there was no urgency, there was no mentality, there was no have to score. It just looked really complacent, and it was really disheartening.
I think this whole team as a whole, they don't feel like winners. I don't think there's a winner on the Arsenal team besides really Havertz with the Champions League title. Everyone else on that team are not a winning team. They don't have people who've won any type of titles. You don't have any people on that team who have experience in either cup finals, in title races. Obviously, this Arsenal team have gone 3 years in second, but none of these players have that mentality of winning or of having lifted a trophy. And I think that mentality really is what caused Arsenal to bottle in April.
And that really is a bigger concept than people would think. Like, having players who have been there, who have won it at the biggest stages, just the presence in the clubhouse, like the leadership they present, that veteran kind of presence. It's something that is really underappreciated in, I think, every sport.
Yeah,
today.
And the fact that it's gone this long without bringing a winner like that in is something that is difficult. Like, yeah, sure, the Bayer Leverkusen or whatever, the Hincapié went invincible. Like, Victor was very successful in Portugal, but it's not the Premier League, it's not the World Cup, it's not the Euros, and I think those are the three that will have that winning mentality that you need to win a Premier League or Champions League, and we don't have any of that in our team, except I guess Havertz. But I don't think he's not that type
person.
I also don't think he's that type of guy necessarily. I really like Kai Havertz, but I don't think he's a mentality monster like that.
I don't see him as that leader either.
No.
I think when you look at someone or a team like Manchester United, they brought in Casemiro. He scored in the Carabao Cup final his first season, and they won it. And then he was there for the FA Cup final the next year. They won back-to-back titles, or trophies, I wouldn't say titles, but they won back-to-back trophies. Casemiro just came off of the three-peat with Real Madrid. And people said he was an old player, but look what happened when he brought
That's
in
what I'm
a
saying. It doesn't
title-winning
even
player.
need to be a first 11 type of player, but that presence, somebody that's on the back end of their career.
Who knows what it takes.
Who knows what it takes. Because
They have that in the locker
I mean,
room. It's
Arteta
important.
doesn't know what it. I mean, I guess, but no, that's actually not true because he did it with City all those times. So I don't understand why he, who is mentors Pep Guardiola, still struggling to get over that line because he saw firsthand he was the right hand to a winning manager and won so much. So that's just kind of where I'm now getting a little frustrated. And I'm a big Mikel Arteta fan. I adore him. I really think he's an incredible manager and really can manage his players well. But I don't know. You can't make another excuse for him.
It leads to a lot of confusion because it's what do you do if they don't win the Premier League? You have a very experienced coach, and Brendan, I'm going to throw it to you again and kind of this for the other sports to bring it into soccer. Is there a coach you think who had so much potential and did very, very good, but always just kind of botched it right at the end? Or anyone who had such a good squad and had so much talent as a manager, but just couldn't find that final piece of the puzzle?
Ooh, that's tough. My mind immediately goes to NFL. I mean, Shanahan has gotten close a handful of times with the Niners, who it's either been they're missing one piece, like on the offense, or just they've lost in a couple of Super Bowls as well. So that's where my mind goes. But it's hard to think of other examples, to be honest.
I mean, this is such a specific example, in my opinion. You have 3 seasons in a row at second. It could be a fourth, but they also are still in the Champions League. So it just creates this dilemma to where I think no matter what, if Arsenal just do not win a trophy at this point,
They've got to win one of them at least.
it's to the hardest trophies to win at club level.
100%. But I think it's really, really bad if they can't win the Premier League. But I think a lot of that heat goes off if not all of that heat goes off them if they win the Champions League. I think that all disappears, and it gives Arteta another shot. But
I think if he doesn't win either, he's gone. And
I
think the
agree.
fans are at this point. You said they were booing the players out of the stadium or when they were walking into the tunnel at the end. It's if he doesn't bring home a trophy to the Emirates this season,
he's gonna lose them.
At this point, the fans would not want him running the club anymore.
But then it's also kind of like, all right, then we're gonna go back to the bot. Like, it's such a hard thing because before Arteta we were nothing, so we weren't even in any European competition. So is it going to be a manager that comes and takes over and brings us over the hump, or is it going to be a manager that comes and takes over, the players don't like him, they start leaving, turmoil, and now we're back at the bottom, and we're not even in Champions League. So it's kind of like, what is this next? Because I think with Arteta going, I don't know if all these players are staying. I also, if we lose and we don't win any trophy, I think a lot of them leave too.
I think a lot of them
I
leave
think Gabriel and Saliba, who are my favorite players as center backs,
I've seen that.
I think that if we don't win, they are too good and they're wasting their career if they stay.
I think
they
that
deserve to win trophies. They are
do.
world-class center backs, and I would love for them to have a long tenure with Arsenal and win everything with Arsenal. But also, as players that good, they're not going to wait around anymore.
Arsenal, at least in my opinion, it's not the type of club where you stay because you want to fully play for. There are those people, 100%. But if you're not, especially if you're not English, someone like Saliba and Gabriel, they're not going to want to stay at Arsenal when they know they're not going to win trophies. This is such an important season for Arsenal because if they don't bring something back into that locker room, you're going to
those are the two I'm worried about, and they're our whole team. Are like, they're so vital that this team collapses without them, and they've been developed through Arsenal and I'm sure like they are the players they are because of Arsenal, but they've gotten to the level where if Arsenal can't keep, they're already developed. They don't need Arsenal to bring that on loan and be patient with them. They're well known, they're world class, and I don't know if they're gonna want to stick around.
I mean, for any sport, when you talk about winning trophies, so many players, as much as they want to stay because they love a team so much, when you don't win trophies, you feel like you're wasting your time. You feel like you're wasting what you could be doing.
Yeah.
And it's very rare now in any sport to see someone stay for so long.
Loyalty only lasts so long.
And there is loyalty. Like, Saka is signed till 32. He's not going anywhere, but again, how far? Like, it's just like it's not.
At some point, there has to be the trophies. The trophies have to come at some point. As I mean, loyalty will last you a while with some of these players, but I mean, they're only gonna be loyal for so long.
But that's the problem. They've been loyal for so long that it's getting to the point
where they need the trophies.
Yeah, like they've been with this team. Like I always say, you have to give Arteta credit. Arteta was given a 16-year-old Bukayo Saka and a checkbook and was like, build a team.
He's getting a bad team.
And
100%.
It wasn't even a team. Like it was like none of those players are even here anymore. And he built this insane team. But that it could be an I hate that like Arsenal play boring football and all that. I think it's so stupid and I think it's all jealousy. But like unlike just like I think that's the way football is. They're winning, so it doesn't matter. It could be an all-time team in my opinion, especially an all-time defensive team, but they're never gonna be talked about if they don't win anything.
I mean, it's very hard to talk about a team when there's nothing to show for it. It's the same thing with the players where you can stay at a club as long as you want. But when you look back after your career, or you can look back, I played for one team, or look back and see all the trophies you have, like and all the winner medals you have in your display case or whatever you want to have. But it's very hard to stay at just one team, especially or stay so loyal to this team when you don't have the trophies. And when Arsenal first lost the league back in 2023, was it? I think it was 2022-23 season. When that happened, everyone was like, okay, well, these players do want to stay because they think they can win the league.
They were like, yeah.
They had a lot of hope. This Arsenal team before was horrible, and going into getting second, everyone's like, okay, we have the faith to stay, but now it's happened 3 times in a row where they've gone second.
And I also think the second year they got second, it was like, oh my gosh, like it was almost ours. Like the first year was like we were in second. Like that was like pretty solidified. Second time it was like title race. Like we were going, it was like one of the first times Arsenal have been in like a title race like that for a while. It went down to the last day, and it was like, wow, like we can compete with Man City.
Was that when City beat West Ham? I think.
Yes.
I remember that.
With that like bicycle kick thing. And then last year was kind of like that we lost it, and it was kind of starting to get like we have to win. It was unacceptable last year. This year, it would be it just unacceptable.
And what I like to think of it is for these Arsenal players, Arsenal have gotten second 3 times in a row. Real Madrid have gotten 3 Champions Leagues in a row. It's to the point where you can keep saying, I love consistency. I love being at the top, but you're never going to be at the peak of it unless if you win something. You can that's the same thing with Arsenal. If they sack Arteta, you have to be risky. You have to get out of the status quo. And I think that's why people love Arteta so much. He's good. He's a good talking person. He's very good at the press. He gives what people want to hear. But the fans at this point, they don't want to hear things. They want to see it. Like I always say, actions speak louder than
100%.
words, and you can't just keep saying this is going to come. You have to show it.
Like he's a charmer in the press. He knows how to get the fans behind him, and like even today, his press conference yesterday was like, oh my gosh, like get up early, have your breakfast, bring your lunch, like get behind us, like but then you didn't give us anything to get behind. So it's just like it's all this talk, but you have. And it's different than other sports. You have 4 chances to, like in each season to kind of shut people up and be like, okay, well, we at least won this. And if you blow all 4 of those chances, like how much longer can you, like how many more chances can you get?
Soccer is so different from American sports where for NBA now is too,
but they changed it because of
Yeah.
soccer. Like that's what it's modeled after.
The NBA
yeah.
Cup is a direct
Yeah.
model of any European Cup. But like NFL, MLB, you have one trophy. You have the Super Bowl. You have the World Series. Like you have one shot to win. Soccer, on average, you have 3 to 4 chances to win a trophy. Yes, some are ranked higher than others, but it's still a trophy at the end of the day. And when Arsenal, if they go 0 for 4 this season, they're out of 2. They have 2 left. If you go 0 for 4, the fans at that point, you can't just say, "Hey, come back us." You have to show why they want to back this team.
I think why myself and a lot of fans have really had conversations about Arteta is by him playing nice guy and staying loyal to Kepa. And in those finals, that these men are not owed anything. It's a job. The best man for the job gets it. You're getting paid millions of dollars. There's no nice guy. There's no he's owed this. They're not owed anything. It's a job. In any other job, if you're not the best man for the job, you don't get to do the job. And so to stand by somebody who you don't really have any loyalty to, like you bought him for $5 million, and he
played for your arguably biggest rivals.
Yeah, played for the biggest rivals, and like he's also had a fine career. Like this,
he has 2 championships.
Yeah, he's not owed anything, and for him to say and be like, well, he's played every game and he got us here, so we're gonna stand by him when he's not your best choice, and then for you to lose based off of maybe David Raya wouldn't save those. We don't know. I'd be a lot more trusting, and the back line doesn't trust Kepa, so they're all off and they're not communicating, and you have a defense that is so well known for being such a unit, and people often forget the goalkeeper is part of that unit, and David Raya is one of the biggest parts, if not the biggest part of that defensive unit. And so to tell the fans I'm going to stand by this guy when the fans have been standing by for 20 years and you've not won anything, I lost a lot of fans because you're not doing what's best for the club.
It's so different. Say, for example, the NFL. You're not going to see a coach be Mr. Nice Guy. He's going to take someone out if it means you guys are going to win.
You have to be ruthless.
You don't see that with Arteta right now. You see that, I think, with a lot of different clubs in England right now. But think of it like the NFL. Coach Reed, he'll take out who he needs to take out to win. Any NFL coach is going to...
Bill Belichick, who is known to be the nastiest person ever, but how much has he won? Because he's ruthless. Because Drew Bledsoe comes back from injury and he says, Brady's better. He's not playing. And then how much did he win with Brady? If he went, but Drew Bledsoe got injured, that's not his fault, and he came back and put him in.
History could have been so different.
Right? You don't, again, it's also, not... For me, it's just, these are worldwide professional athletes, millions of dollars. They're not owed anything. And, so many times in life, people who have much less than millions of dollars, if they're not the best man or woman for the job, they don't get it, and nor should they, because it's just that it's not how things work.
That's how life works.
Yeah.
You can't just put someone in just to be nice and say, especially in a cup final where
it screws the fans who've been there.
Fans get mad at that because you're backing such a big project. Arteta's been there for such a long time, and all he has to show is that 1 FA Cup within his first season. But besides that, it's what else is there to show? You can't say, we owe this guy to put him in for a cup final just because he's on the bench. If he's not the person for the job, you keep him on the bench and you win a trophy. You show the fans, look, this is what we're here to do. Obviously, the Carabao Cup's not a Premier League, but it's to show this is what's coming next. This is what we're going to
It also changes the mentality. It changes all the talk around the team because it shouldn't get into the locker room, all this negative talk, but it does. I'm sure it does. When Thierry Henry, who is their spokesperson, is bashing all the players today, they should hear that, and but that's what's gonna happen. That doesn't happen if they win the Carabao Cup, lose the FA Cup, or get out of the FA Cup, win against Sporting, and draw this game. None of that talk happens.
It's so different when you have.
So it's now they're just completely putting themselves into this spiral, and for me, then for Arteta to go around and then start Kepa again and get knocked out is just it's so much focus on this one thing. But for when he lost the fans, that's where he lost them. Because it felt like you're backing somebody that's been here for 5 minutes instead of the fans and the players that who've been there forever. I'm sure if you ask Gabrielle and Saliba, like, who do you trust more?
David Raya.
They're going to say David Raya. So you're setting them up in a cup final at Wembley with someone they're less comfortable with. They've been playing with Raya forever. They are a defensive unit. To underestimate that the goalkeeper is such a massive part of that is a disrespect to David Raya, because David Raya is that defensive unit. He's absolutely part of it.
Especially having someone who's barely played this season within Kappa being there at Wembley. And speaking of Wembley,
barely played
one
for
of
this
us
club.
have been at Wembley. Brendan,
I have been at Wembley.
What was the atmosphere like there, being there? You can tell it's different from a lot of other sports.
It is. I mean, to be fair, it was just an international friendly.
It doesn't matter with them.
So it wasn't probably as electric as like a league match, but it was still really, really cool. I'd say honestly the atmosphere when I went to the Wrexham was better, just because that one was a league match that really mattered, whereas the international was England v Finland.
But you see how electric these fans are, right? How passionate they get with it.
Yeah, they get into it.
So just then imagine at Wembley, which people can argue is the greatest stadium in the world.
I think so.
There's a lot of talk with that,
Yeah,
but that's a
definitely
different
up there.
subject,
Definitely up there.
unfortunately. But it's 100% up there. Probably the most.
It's an honor to play there.
Yeah, and to put someone in there who
Doesn't
barely played this
deserve it,
season,
in my opinion.
doesn't deserve it, and to see that's when the fans see that's who's been in the goal.
They're already not behind
Yeah,
you. And I
it leads
also
to
think
such
that,
conflicting
like,
thoughts.
that whole deserving thing, too, is crazy to me, too, because, like, so what, then David Raya just never gets to play at Wembley? If you were, like, saying that, like, playing at Wembley is such an honor, playing a cup final is such an honor, and your best world-class top 3 goalkeeper in the world just doesn't get to play there because he's too good for it, like, that's, like, he probably wanted to play at Wembley. Like, it's a huge deal.
I want to be on the pitch at Wembley.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Like, to think that, like, to just give that up is so... I have been angry at Arsenal since that.
I wouldn't even say it's unfair. It's more just like, why? It leaves you questioning why.
There are high school coaches in the United States more ruthless than that.
Definitely. I think if you go to a high school in the South, like...
high school at my all-girls school basketball team, like, that, like, it's even more ruthless than
ruthless.
that.
You, like, I say especially in the South, like with that. Where
football coaches in the South.
They will do anything to win. You would bench your best player if he shows any signs of not like following through like what the coach wants.
And if it's like man management and feelings, if you're again players who are these stars, have these big names, big contracts, they can't handle being told like, oh, you're not good enough for this. Like, then there's some major discipline problems.
You're not speaking to a child. You're speaking
right.
To
You're a grown man. And you're not the best person for this job. If they can't take it, also, it's not a huge loss. Like, why are we protecting somebody who you're acting like is our core, like, person, you know? Like, if Kepa's upset with that, which he has a right to be, like, I'm not saying that the guy, like, doesn't deserve to have feelings. He absolutely does. And he has every right to be like, listen, like, you said that I could, and you screwed me over, and I'm leaving, I'm going to play somewhere else. Fine. Like, that's okay. Like, why do you need to save like that? You know, it's like, for me, it's...
Of course, like, people's feelings matters. Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to say, oh, like, you shouldn't, like, care about, like, how someone feels.
Yeah.
But if it's about how good you are and if you're able to be on that pitch, show it.
Put
show
your
your
best
feelings
players
on the field so you can show why you deserve to be there. Not you say, oh, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm upset that I didn't get to play this. You show, okay, this is why I should be playing. And to start someone who barely played at all, who has 2 Champions League medals for being on the bench pretty much, or being a backup goalkeeper, you don't play them when it's one of the biggest moments of your season, which could define the rest of Arsenal's season, their next few seasons. Like, if Arsenal end up going trophyless this season, it causes so much conflict in that locker room of, does Arteta stay?
Does all these players play?
Do they want to stay here?
It protects a player who, again, like, I hate saying, like, oh, like, just, like, screw him over, essentially, because, like, I'm sure he promised him that but if he leaves, then fine. Is it worth losing all that, in conjunction losing your mentality, which loses you the league, which then loses you all your best players, or a lot of your best players? So it's just, like, for me, it's hard, I'm sure, but that's why they say coaching is one of the toughest jobs in the world. A lot of people aren't cut out for it, and the most successful coaches are known for being absolutely ruthless and, like, psychotic. Like, Bill Belichick is the best coach in the NFL ever, and ask his players... Who?
That's a classic Brendan stare right there.
And you can go back and make an argument for like
Who's
guys
made
like
6?
Lombardi.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, fair enough. But like, modern era.
Yeah,
Definitely say
he's the best modern era.
Ask his players. Ask Gronk, ask Edelman, ask Brady if they still talk to him. Ask them if they're friends. Ask them if they like them. I don't think they'll say yes. And
You know what? They got rings.
but they'll say, but then ask them, would you rather have a different coach? Or do you
Never.
think that you would have the success with a different coach? And they would probably say, I'm sure they'd say no.
You're gonna want the
You don't
coach who
have
can
to be
use you
their
in the
best
way
friend. It's kind of,
possible.
yeah, like
you're not going to your coach and saying like, "Oh, you guys ready to go to the pub later?" It's I want to see like who could actually teach me to win it. And if, the thing with teaching someone to win, it's you're not always going to be there. You're going to have to understand when you are not cut for something, and when at times you're not going to be there. At times you might be on that bench, but if it means you guys win at the end of the day, that's what's way more important than being friends. with
it
your
also
coach.
sets a precedent to the players when you do that. Like, listen, you have to stay with it because you're not guaranteed anything, and like you have to stay on it. You have to keep working. Your spot is not safe or like not guaranteed. And for me, that ruthlessness that Pep has, like think of Pep. Pep doesn't care, and so to have ruthlessness like that is kind of what's missing with him, I think. And I don't know if he has it in it because he is such a great guy and he is such a charmer in the press and he is a very nice man. But is that part that can he get that ruthlessness? It might just not be in who he is, and I don't know if that necessarily will I don't know if that nice will prevail over all the other coaches who are willing to be ruthless.
Think about not Tom Segura. Think about Gareth Southgate when he came to
Mhm.
England. He was by definition of a charmer to the press.
Yeah.
People loved hearing him talk. People loved him in interviews because he would just say what people wanted to
He's a
hear.
nice guy.
He was a very nice guy.
He's
he was
not
a
ruthless.
definition of a charmer. But think about they went to World Cup semifinal, 2 Euro finals back to back. And did he do what his team needed to do? No. Harry Kane was injured for at least a bit of that Euro 2020 final. He should have came off at one point, but he stayed on the whole time.
Yeah.
Same thing in Euro 24. A lot of those players stayed on for way too long where they should have been taken off. Think of Ollie Watkins, who maybe not now, he's not as good as he was,
I
but
love
during
Ollie
that,
Watkins, though.
he was, during 2024, electric. He was
Yeah.
defining that Euro team, but he couldn't get on the pitch.
I think like loyalty is so important in life and such an important value, but I don't know if you can be successful in sports with loyalty.
It's very hard.
Does that make sports? But I don't know what that means. But I like to have a strong sense of loyalty and try to please everyone around you. I don't know if there's an instance in sports where that winning team's be like, yeah, my coach was so loyal by me, or this and that.
I think you can win through loyalty.
You can. I think there's players who are definitely there, but I think it's harder as time goes on, if that makes sense. I think
Right, because you would have to assume that everyone's playing on that fair playing field, which they're not. Especially like against Man City, like they're known for not playing on an even playing field, and so I'm not saying to do any of that because that's a whole other story. But you have to. It's kind of like how well can like you prevail when everyone else is kind of playing dirty.
It's such a hard situation to be loyal and to stay with one team, but to kind of preview our next segment, a little historical trivia. George Washington knew when to say goodbye. If everyone, Hamilton reference to that. He knew when to set the president and when to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something with sports. At times you have to know when to leave. You have to know when to, even you want to stay loyal, but at the same time you kind of have to know when to go.
To back my Arsenal team that is doing well, the women last season, they lost to Chelsea. It was horrible. The manager left. He knew that he lost the fans. It was time to leave. The assistant manager came in and they won the Champions League that same year. So it's like sometimes that change is good. Like, and I have the Arsenal women are the prime example of it. Like right in their same, like right down the pitch, are now very successful because that manager left and the new manager inherited a very good team and was able to turn it around. So that could, but that's again, it's the like that could happen or it could fail and everybody leaves. So there's like, it's such a risk.
Being a manager comes with many risks, but that's the thing. You
It's
have
a
to learn
hard job.
to take risk. If
Yeah.
you don't, so many players would never even be known if you didn't take a risk with them and put them on for 10 minutes left in a cup game, but they have an electric game and people want to see them on the pitch more. It's what it takes to be a manager, is to know the risk, to know how to be able to get the fans behind you, but at the same time know how to win. And it's so important for a manager, and it goes for all sports. It's not just soccer, where you have to get the fans behind you, you have to get everyone behind you, but you also have to realize it's not about always being fair. It's about realizing who your team is and realizing what it takes to win. But I think, unfortunately, that cuts us off with soccer. It's amazing we got it 3 times in a row now. I think it's grown here. But after this quick break, we're going to go into our final segment. I previewed it a little. We have a bit of sports trivia for everyone, but you'll hear all of that after this quick break.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
And we are back for our final segment of the day. Back to One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. Brendan Shorey here with Ethan Bess, Maggie Danahy, and Sam G and Grande on the producer mic in the back. And Sam came up with a little game for us to play today. Sam, why don't you take it away?
So the game we have today, I hinted at it a little. It's trivia, but it has a little twist on it. I call the game Hi, My Name Is, and no, not with Slim Shady, but I have 5 players for you guys, and each player has 5 questions. You get the first question right, 5 points. Next one, 4. It keeps going down until it's 1 point. 5 is a very hard question. 1 should be very easy. So we have 5 players. You have to respond with Hi, My Name Is, just like Jeopardy, where you have to respond in the form of a question. If I don't hear you say Hi, My Name Is, no points and someone else can take the answer. But you don't get any penalties for guessing. But I think we'll go right into it if no one has any other questions.
Let's get into it.
All right, so first player. I'm an offensive player, but arguably my most iconic moment was a defensive play.
Ooh. Hi, my name is LeBron.
5 points to Brendan right off the bat. Oh my God.
Offensive player, but the block by James.
I thought that would be a lot harder of a question.
Come on, that's
the other ones I had
that's
was...
my goat right there. That's my goat.
I really thought that'd be a lot harder.
That's like me with Declan Rice the other day.
Ethan and Maggie, did you think of LeBron?
I wasn't even at basketball yet.
I had them very vague, so you can't tell the sport right away. But the other questions I had for that was when I moved to a new team, someone else who moved to the same city sent me a jersey signed. If anyone have heard that story before, maybe I should have started with that one.
I actually didn't know that one.
I wish I started that. So Zlatan Ibrahimovic, when he moved to LA Galaxy, sent LeBron a signed jersey because he thought he was a fan. So we had that when I was 17 years old. I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine.
Maybe I would have gotten that.
And then I have 2 different iconic jersey numbers, 23 and 6, and I play alongside my son in the NBA. Okay. So that's 5 points to Brendan. I'll be keeping track back here. So we have 5 right off the bat for you, Brendan. But so for the next player, some may say I'm an entrepreneur with having my own brands of sports equipment, drinks, and cosmetic products. If no one knows, you can just say skip and we'll go.
Everyone has to say skip?
Yeah, skip.
Yeah.
Skip.
Ethan, do you have skip?
Yeah.
My mic's not. Oh, there we go.
There we go. My bad.
You're good. Yeah, I'd say skip.
All right. That was supposed to be a hard one. So next, before sports, I lived off welfare and worked a blue-collar job.
Ooh, that could be a lot of
that could be a lot of people.
It's a handful of
There
players
is.
that could be. Hi, my name is Giannis.
No.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Derrick Rose.
No.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Butler.
No. I think, do you guys want to go to the next one?
Yeah,
I
go to the next
skip.
one.
Yeah, let's move.
All right, third one for 3 points. In an infamous post-match interview, I took time to thank people from the bottom of my heart. I have thank in air quotes.
Thank in air quotes.
Thank in air quotes.
From the bottom of my heart.
Pass.
I'm going to pass. I'm going to skip.
Yeah, I'm a skip.
All right, so now this is for 2 points. I am known to psychologically break people before matches.
My name is Ant.
It's not.
Hi, my name is Michael Jordan.
No.
Hi, my name is Kevin Garnett.
No.
I don't think it's going to be basketball.
Hi, my name is Larry Bird.
No.
No, I don't think it's going to be basketball.
I don't know what it
Hi,
is.
my name is Mike Tyson.
No.
Oh, that's actually a good guess.
That's a good one, though.
Skip.
Skip.
Ethan says skip for you.
Yeah, it's a skip.
So for 1 point, I am the first person to hold 2 simultaneously titles.
Ooh,
Simultaneous titles.
The first to have 2 titles at the same time.
This is probably going to be this is a fighter.
Yeah,
It's a fighter. So Ethan was close with Tyson.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Ali.
No.
Hi, my name is Floyd Mayweather.
No. Maggie will give you one final guess.
I have no
Is this
idea.
a skip for you?
Yeah.
So I think this is the time I gotta say it's hi, my name is Conor McGregor.
I should have thought.
Ooh.
So in his most infamous interview, he said, "I just want to thank from the bottom of my heart, absolutely nobody."
Absolutely. Oh, I remember
That's
that.
probably one of my favorite, I think, interviews of all time. And he's known to go into alcohol. He has his own pub.
Yep.
But so that's 0 for everyone. I didn't think I would get anyone mixed up that much, but We'll go into the third player now. So for 5 points, I've once been compared to F1 cars due to my speed, where I once ran almost at 24 miles per hour at max acceleration.
Hi, my name is Usain Bolt.
No.
That was actually I was gonna
That
say
was a good
Hi, my name is Noah Lyles.
No, but these are very
Hi,
good
my name is
guesses.
Tyreek Hill.
No. I knew Tyreek Hill was going to get here at one point.
Hi, my name is John Ross.
No.
Hi,
will
my
give
name
you-
is Deion Sanders.
No. You guys are getting good guesses.
I skip.
Skip.
I'll skip that.
We'll go to the next one. When I scored a point in a certain match, the commentator said a famous line saying, "Teenage kicks, the ultimate teenage kicks." It's a little commentary trivia.
A
When I scored
point.
a point.
So I will say this. Any terminology I use, it does not mean it's specific to a sport. It's just so it's as vague as possible.
So it's vague as
Okay,
possible. I
okay.
gotcha. All right. Points vary.
Hi, my name is Max Dowman.
No.
Hi, my name is Sidney Crosby.
No.
Hi, my name is Connor McDavid.
No. I like that I'm tripping you guys up now. It's-
Running has to be like soccer
I
or
skip.
football. Yeah,
I'll skip.
All right. Next one. I am a big fan of American sports, where I once talked about my love for the LA Lakers, and in that interview he called them the Lakers as a big guess. As a big hint, I should say.
Oh, so European. I'm picking.
Yeah,
up.
it's definitely European.
I'm thinking European. Not a basketball player.
Yeah, not a basketball player.
Probably not football. There's not a lot of European football players.
And you said Lakers.
That's how he pronounced it in the interview.
Hi, my name is David Beckham.
No,
Oh, wow.
but you're on the right track.
Okay.
I like where Ethan's going with this. I think, is this a skip?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say a skip.
So
skip.
For 2 points, I became the youngest goal scorer in a World Cup final since.
Hi, my name
Pelé.
is Lamine Yamal.
No. in a World Cup final.
In a World Cup final.
Hi, my name is Kylian Mbappe.
There we go. Brendan's now on
Okay.
7 points.
Bang.
So, for anyone who doesn't know,
Bang.
the commentary was in the 2018 World Cup final, where Derek Ray influently said "teenage kicks, the ultimate teenage kicks."
Heard.
And the other two were actually the same interview as when he was at a F1 event. Someone said he was as fast as the cars, but we're gonna go on to our second to last player. I'm gonna make this one double points, so it's a bit more of a fair game.
Let me get some competition in here.
Yeah, I think Brendan's alone at the top right now.
Come on.
We need Maggie and Ethan to get on the board. So for 5 points, this will be 10 actually.
Okay.
At age 9, I featured on the Gelly Kelly show, where I displayed my ability of the sport I play.
Skip.
Skip.
I'm a skip.
Oh, correction, the Gary Kelly show, but I think
Yeah.
it's still a
That
skip.
doesn't do anything.
I told you I found some hard questions.
These are, yeah.
As a kid, for 4 points, I slept with my sports equipment to stay connected to the game.
Ooh, hi, my name is Jimmy Butler.
No.
Hi, my name is Connor McDavid.
No.
Skip.
Skip.
I'll skip.
At age 16, I left school to pursue my dream of going professional in the sport I play, to where my parents both took up more jobs.
Ooh.
Hi, my name is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No.
Oh, he did come over. He did come over from Greece early. That's why.
Hi, my name is Kyler Murray.
No. We're getting good guesses though.
Hi, my name is no.
I'm skipping.
I'm skipping.
I'll skip.
So since it's double 4 points, my dad placed a bet on me to win a tournament, and when I won, my dad won 100,000 British pounds.
British pounds.
Tournament.
I'm skipping.
This might be this is a golfer. Hi, my name is Rory McIlroy.
That's 4 more for Brendan.
Okay.
He is killing it right now.
Yeah.
So if anyone didn't know, the Gary Kelly Show is a Northern
knew
Irish
this. Yeah.
talk show. Very niche, I know. And then
I heard that interview of him that he used to sleep with it.
Yeah, he used to sleep at this golf club at night to get more in.
What keyed me in was that his parents had to pick up multiple jobs because golf is an expensive sport.
It is very expensive.
It is a very expensive sport.
Right now we're sitting at Brendan with 11 and Maggie and Ethan at 0, but I'll make this final one triple points. So triple
Only
points.
way one of you guys can catch me.
I think this is the hardest question I have is this one. Sam Giangrande attended my second to last home game.
Skip.
I've told this back to a good amount of people. So I'm not saying you guys aren't listening, but I have said this fact around the station before.
Skip.
All right. I spent my entire. Oh, sorry. Ethan, do you have a guess?
No, I just wanted to. No, we got like a. Hi, my name is Kobe Bryant.
No.
All right, Skip.
I spent my entire career at one team only. I was fighting back bringing up this player last segment when we talked about one-man teams.
Hi, my name is Kobe Bryant.
No. So this is for 12 points. So
Hi, my name is Carmelo Anthony.
No.
Carmelo played for 2 teams.
You're right. I forgot that was the hint.
Hi, my name is Dirk Nowitzki.
No.
If I said his name right, sorry.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
So if Maggie and Ethan want to beat Brendan, then you guys have to get it on this clue.
One team.
Spent his entire career at one team.
Hi, my name is Sidney Crosby.
No.
Hi, my name is Tom Brady.
No.
Oh wait, no, we played for 2. I'm sorry.
No, Breeze played for multiple.
Chargers, Saints.
So did Manning. Hi, my name is Eli Manning.
No.
Oh.
I think this is where we do skip.
Yeah,
I skip.
Sure, I
So
skip.
Brendan, you have one, but we'll go through the rest for this player.
Sure.
Though I only played for one team, I was there long enough to see him through 2 different stadiums.
Ooh.
What team?
2 different stadiums.
What team was moving stadiums like that? No, it's probably not baseball. Unless it's hi, my name is Derek Jeter.
There we go. Brendan with the
Wow.
clean sweep.
Wow.
Oh my lord. So
Come
that was
on,
triple.
come on.
So that was 9. So add
21.
yeah, so 11 plus yeah. Brendan with the 21 points in the
Bang.
first
Oh
ever
wait,
edi-
20. My bad.
Oh,
Sorry,
20, my bad.
Yeah.
Give me that's a Mike Breen double bang right there.
I think this for the first ever iteration of Hi, My Name Is, Brendan's going down as the champion of it. We have 20 points to Brendan, and then unfortunately
goose
0
eggs.
to Ethan and Maggie. How'd you guys think of it? I thought it was pretty interesting.
I thought it was
That was a
pretty
fun
I
game.
just
interesting.
have to
That was
scan
fun.
so many sports so fast. I just can't.
Yeah,
That's a fun
so
game.
I made sure it was one for one sport.
I knew that it was
for-
going to be that.
Yeah,
So
it was
once
one
it-
different sport each.
And I got the soccer one, Maggie.
Yeah,
I know. Because I wouldn't say Mbappe is known for his speed necessarily,
He's
so I
very
couldn't.
quick though.
He is
He
very
is
quick,
very
but it's
quick. He
not
can
like
move.
no,
He has
100%. But it's
speeds.
just not like his tagline. You know what I mean? So
I
it's-
get that. Yeah,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
Better luck next time, Sam. Amazing game. Thank you
I
for
you
appreciate
bringing
guys
it
are
in.
playing.
But
Nice.
unfortunately, that is going to be all from us here today on this edition of One on One. If you missed any of our segments from today's show, be sure to check out the WFUV Sports YouTube page, and you will find everything you're looking for there and more. Guys, what a pleasure it was today. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. Our video producer was Faris Amin. Our radio producer was Sam Giangrande, and our game creator was Sam Giangrande right there. For Ethan Bess and Maggie Danahy, I'm Brendan Shorey saying thanks for tuning in. See y'all later. One on One is a production of WFUV Sports.